All right, and we are live. Welcome to the Iron Lords podcast, episode number 59. And it's another glorious Sunday, and we are back at the round table on the Lord's Day. We've got the launch and impact of God of War, media bias, changes at Microsoft Studios, and Call of Duty single player to discuss. So we're going to get right into it. So let's introduce the four horsemen of gaming, those usual suspects at the round table. My co-host with the co-most, my brother from another mother, the difficult game conqueror, and the howl of the young wolf. My man, Lord Addict, how you doing, sir?
What's up, you guys?
Yeah, enthusiastic. How I like it. And of course, we have our most technical gaming lord, the solo gamer who lives for the single player selfish experience, and also the Softstradamus, Mr. Offline Profile Illuminati himself, my man, Lord Sovereign. How you doing, sir?
Doing good, man. What's up, guys? I'm on that crack, that God of War track.
On that game that shall not be named.
Yeah, you guys have pulled me away from my crack. So
you're on that dot piff, got that piff popping.
Yeah, hard. You listen to me slapping the wrist. Need that fix.
I feel you.
Got that fix, baby. I feel you. And of course, we got the Incredible Hulk of this thing, aka the XS Gamer. The Lord of Combat Sports, who is a man of his convictions, demands nothing less than the premium experience, and is the Get Money Gamer. I ain't hear oohs. I feel away.
I know. I'm sitting here like, ooh,
there
like
go.
my bad. I'm so sorry. Like, because you changed it up, and I got to jump in that flow. I got to get that.
I feel you. Yeah. Because I feel you.
Yeah, this is only the second time that me and you've been doing this, so we're gonna get it. We're gonna
get that one. Beloved Lord King, how you doing, sir?
We're doing fantastic, everybody. Listen, people. The gods of the fight last night was in the king's favor. All right, and also we had some charlatans and some snake oil salesmen out here giving you the unreal, while Showtime is out here dishing that real. Just like God of War is that real, Showtime got that real. Let me tell you something. Let's go to that fake first. Let's hit that fake first. That fool's gold, that idiot sauce. Let's get to that first, right? Check it out. Last night, Eddie Snake Salesman Hearns had his little card out there in the UK. Shout out to the UK gamers. Shout out to the UK fight lovers. Eddie Hearn is a snake oil salesman. Don't be fooled by what he's telling you. All right, well, he had your man Amir Khan coming back. Amir King Kong. Last time we saw Amir Khan, he was flat on his back. Canelo done stretched his life out his body. All right? All right, we all know Amir Khan does not have a chin. So remember when I told you guys about tomato cans?
Yes.
Well, young man and cherry picked the best tomato can he could find. And when he picked them, he put them in the ring with Amir King Kong. What happens when you put talent against hard work? The hard work is garbage. The hard work that was garbage got stretched out in 51 seconds.
Whoa.
You heard me right, folks.
Whoa.
51.
Which fight was this?
Seconds. Yeah, you didn't see it because it was the bull. It was the S.
The first okay. I must have missed that one.
No, it was not part of the Showtime. Do not mix that with Showtime love.
Okay, got you.
Okay? Don't. Now.
No, this was Showtime.
Yeah, okay, that's fool's gold. Everybody's going to think Amir Khan is back, and they're going to put him in there with somebody who got a punch, and Amir Khan is going to die. Okay? He's going to die. All right? Now, we had Carl Frampton against Donito Donaire. Let me tell you something, people. You're going to have, this is going to be the theme of the evening. It's hard work versus talent. All right? Donaire has supreme talent. His talent, ridiculous. In his heyday, you have Carl Frampton, who was a hard work. He would outwork you. So exactly what happened was he got outworked. And talent showed up some, but it wasn't enough because it wasn't backed by hard work. Donaire, you still got some left in the tank. You have to be matched properly, and you have to train differently. You have to reinvent yourself like Holyfield did.
True.
You, my friend, should not be in the ring with anybody that's going to outpace you. It was a great fight. All Showtime cards are a great fight. That was a Showtime
Yeah, Showtime
fight
always puts on a good joint. What else we got?
Javante Tank Davis. Ooh! Shout out to Tank Davis for getting focused. Young man, you're 21 years old. You got everything going for you right now. Your accuracy, your boxing technique, that half uppercut that he was throwing, he kept hitting. He hit him in his body with a half uppercut that made his leg say, "Not tonight. I don't have it tonight. Tonight, I know you want to do this, but I do not have it." All right. So that's when you mix talent with work ethic, and you get the result. He knocked him out in the third round. Muerte, de muerte. All right. Check this out. Now you had my man Jamal Charlo.
All right. Now this is when I tuned in. This is when I tuned. This is Showtime. This is when I turn my TV on. Yes. I
tell everybody about this beast, this savage, this monster of a man. He's a twin. His father produced two of the most savage boxers you do not want your life in the ring with. Okay? Mm-hmm. This is talent. He was facing, again, hard work. Hard work tried. Hard work brought his lunch pail, and he thought tonight would be his night. Mm-hmm. Jamal Charlo hit him with that 1-2, that one-hitter quitter, folded his knee back into his body. Everybody thought he was dead, folks. I'm so sorry. But everybody thought it was over.
When I turned my TV on, literally, y'all told me Showtime was on, and I saw a man that looked like he got shot down by a sniper. So I asked, whose man's is that? And why is he sprawled underneath the rope as soon as I turned the channel to Showtime?
The best knockout you're going to see so far this first half of the year. And then we're going to get to Adrian Broner, the highlight of the card, versus Jesse Vargas. Mm-hmm. Jesse Vargas is hard work, folks. Jesse Vargas is a Mexican-American guy who works very hard at his craft. Yeah. Adrian Broner is a very highly talented Black American. Mm-hmm. These two Americans were in the ring. Brash, trash talking, and they weren't producing what you expected. The reason why they weren't producing what you expected is because one was a just enough dude. All right, now we call them just enough ninjas, if you understand what I'm saying. He's happy with just enough. He tries to fool you because he has talent, and he doesn't work hard enough because he doesn't want to risk. Without risk, there's no reward, Adrian. Without blood, sweat, and tears, and willing to put your body into that fire and die for what you're talking about. Because you got a big mouth, Adrian. Your mouth is so big, but your skill set doesn't back it up. You're not Floyd, so stop shoulder rolling. Fight. Put those hands together and let them hands go. You thought by changing trainers that something different was going to happen, but you had the same exact result, and you heard the same exact thing coming from the corner. So it's not those people that's behind you. It is you, my friend.
Good point. And it's fun. I'm glad you said that, King, not to cut you, because I loved what the corner was saying to him every round. They were being real with him. He's in his own head about how great he think he is as opposed to what he actually produces. But continue. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. We was talking about it yesterday. You were part of the conversation going back and forth, and you saw it. What we tried to do was fool you. When he heard that bell, we call them 10-second suckers. All right? when I used to fight, you got 10-second suckers, and they hear that bell, and they know in 10 seconds their butt will be saved because they'll be able to go sit down in the corner. Yep. So they throw the hardest. 10 seconds. Bell ring. That's the most action. And then when the fight, when the bell starts again, they come out the first middle of the round and they don't give you exactly what they just left you with. Exactly. So they fool you into thinking that it's going to be something else. I scored it a draw as well. I had Jesse Vargas with his great talent, with his great hard work, winning the first 6 rounds. Yeah. But then talent showed up in Adrian Broner. If Adrian Broner would have worked harder
in the beginning of the fight, exactly. Yeah, it would have closed. It's exactly what you said. And that's my problem with him. Like, he's so talented, but it's just like you said, King, he just doesn't work hard. And if he came on late, and it's like if you'd have put this same energy in the first 6, it would have been a no doubter. Like,
I know why he doesn't do it, because the first 6 rounds, that person is very dangerous and viable. He's afraid. Yeah. He has a heart of a mustard seed. He's not a true fighter. Adrian, you are an undercard fighter, and I'm tired of you. I'm tired of looking for you to show up. I'm tired of you boasting. At the end of the fight, you were highly disrespectful. You were rude. You wasn't a sportsman. You, my friend, are what the worst of all of us ninjas. You are the worst that we have to offer. You are not a pay-per-view fighter. You will never be Floyd. Floyd, no matter what he said, he always conducted himself as a sportsman and a businessman. Was never disrespectful, unless when he went at one dude and he apologized about it because he was highly upset because he gave his all in the ring. You do not give your all, sir. You are not Floyd. You need to go away. You are an undercard fighter. I do not want to see you headlining anything. Anything that you're a part of, I don't want to be a part of. And UFC, let's get that cognito.
Let's get to it. Yeah, I'll actually start off with Solve. What have you seen for UFC?
For UFC, like honestly, I focused on. I saw a lot of the undercards, but as I said to you guys before we started, I was playing God of War, had UFC and boxing off to the side. So I'm watching it, but it's all muted. When I'm paying attention to the stuff on the side, I'm like, all right, I'm checking out these fights. So I paid attention really to Edgar versus Cub Swanson and Barbosa versus Lee. The two main fights on the cards. That's what I really paid attention to.
So what was your assessment of both?
Well, Edgar, Edgar after losing to Brian Ortega, a guy who just his physical attributes just kind of overtook Edgar. The guy's young, the guy's talented, the guy's strong. He's just physically too much for Frankie Edgar. But Cub Swanson is a guy that Frankie tapped out before. So and Cub is a great fighter.
Cub's a great fighter.
Great fighters.
Absolutely.
But it goes to show you that Frankie, despite being in the game for a long time, can still perform at that high level. His movement, his boxing, his takedowns, his defense, all around skill in the octagon shows, and it showed against Cub Swanson. Cub is the type of guy who's going to stand. He's gonna throw punches with you. He's not really big about being on the floor, although he is a pretty good jiu-jitsu practitioner and a wrestler. But I mean, again, Frankie just did what he needed to do to beat Cub Swanson. And he, the thing is, he's a smart fighter. He's at the point in his life he can't go toe to toe with these guys. He can't. Exactly. And generally, everybody's bigger than him. Even guys that are kind of.
It looked good though.
That's a testament to Frankie, to be honest, because to me, I always feel he's always undersized in every fight. And his skill level is so much, and he's so busy, and he's so accurate. Like, it's such a testament. I mean, he just did a quick turnaround against Ortega, so everybody was questioning, like, "Yo, what are you doing? You just got stretched, and then you came back up here with Cub." And he worked Cub, and Cub. What pissed me off about the fight is like Cub didn't want it. Like,
your Cub is usually a lot more aggressive.
I'm like, you acting like you fighting this superimposing fighter, and I'm like, don't disrespect the Frankie, like. I was very disappointed with Cub. I'm gonna be real with you because I like Cub and I know what he's capable of. So to see him so tentative and not getting off,
people know when you in there with that dude that's gonna do that thing.
Cub is a beast, though. Cub is a beast, and the first fight was competitive until when Frankie took him down. Like, Frankie has the ability to ground and pound you to death if he takes you down. He's a great wrestler, and he got his back and choked him out. But I mean, Cub with that, it was a very competitive fight. It just
him out the chain though.
Yeah.
Shout out to my man with that chain though.
I forgot his name, young boy. I know you're talking.
I love him. I'm about the new Rampage. He is the new Rampage. About him. He is so get busy.
Yeah, he get busy. I just found out about him myself. I gotta look into him. But yeah, shout out to him. I know he dabbed after his win. Which was kind of funny. He did his thing. Just gonna breeze through real quick so we get into it. Shout out to obviously he was in Jersey last night, not too far from where I'm at. So shout out to Jersey Jim Miller, but boy Dan Hooker, oh my Lord, this man, the best knee I've ever seen. It was so perfectly timed. Slumped this boy, put him to sleep. Oh my Lord, I felt bad for Jim Miller, man. That was just a perfect knee. Dan Hooker, watch out for him. He's on the rise. Same thing what you saw with Edgar versus Cub. You know what I'm saying? Frankie's back. He's back in the mix. We'll see what happens with him. But I got to talk about that main event, y'all.
Okay. That's the main event.
Kevin Lee versus Edson Barbosa. Both coming off of losses. Kevin Lee to Ferguson. You know what I'm saying? Now, he had the staph infection with that one. This one.
Wait, that dude has a loss?
Yeah, he lost to Ferguson. He was dominating Ferguson, and then he came in with the staph infection, and he after the second or third round he faded and he gassed out. And what I was worried about Kevin Lee, the problem with him is that he always has weight issues and like that. He missed weight again. They had to fight at a catch weight, so he had to give some of his purse. So his dedication is still a little off. Like this, he's young. He's got so much talent, and he's so good. Like. And he pretty much could do it all, but it's just like he's got to get it together. And Barbosa just came off of the mauling from Khabib. So we wanted to see where he was at. But Barbosa could strike. Like his feet is crazy. So long story short, first 2 rounds, Kevin Lee is just straight dominating him. Like it was the best performance from Kevin Lee I've ever seen. I was like, oh, Kevin's ready. He's ready. Then the third round came. And I saw something I thought I would never see. Edson Barbosa landed a roundhouse spin, not a roundhouse, just a standard kick to the top of Kevin Lee's head. And Kevin Lee's cell phone went off, and he didn't know. He had to grab a call. Yo, King, I've never seen a boogaloo.
Yo,
I've never seen a stinky leg.
Let me tell you guys, because he's not telling you how it was going. All right. Dude who's Lee? Lee is the dude that took the wiggle for the body, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now Lee was out there giving everything that he had to offer, everything that he advertised that dude with. Barbosa, everything he talked about leading up to the fight, he gave him all of that. He was giving him every elbow, every knee. He had him on the floor. He was beating the brakes off this. Right? Yes. I'm like, this is not competitive. This doesn't make any sense. But dude. Barbosa hit him with this one roundhouse kick side of the head. My man's body said, I'm out of here. But his mind said, get over here. And yanked it back into the body. Yo, he went, it was crazy because he was like, oh my God, Lord. And his natural instinct was to tackle him, man. He's to tackle him. I know something in his head to tackle him. Yo, he tackled the dude. He was like, yo, he was on his waist. Like, yo, it looked so crazy. It was the craziest look ever. He was like, please, no, not today. Please, not
today. He needed his help to stay up, and he just turned it into a takedown. All right, y'all take this. I'm taking it. He looked,
please.
He knows why.
Y'all got to YouTube this, y'all. Even if y'all don't watch, all the gamers in the chat, even if y'all do not watch UFC, please YouTube Kevin Lee versus Edson Barbosa, specifically the third round. That's
just look
all
at the highlights.
It's
1 minute. You will see it.
If you want to see body betrayal, it's purest form. Please.
But then he got it together, and he said, I have to open you up right now.
Yeah,
and this is exactly what he said. I'm going to open you up. And he started giving him knees, elbows to this side of the head, and he opened him up. It looked like, when the baby is coming. The cup was like that big. He said, not tonight, son, not tonight. That was beautiful. It was the fight gods are pleased.
Yes, beautiful night, Combat Sports. I know Atticus, we got to wake him back up. We got to get back into the show.
Yo, Merk, I know you love that shirt. That was beautiful, right? I hope everybody's got these shirts. Get them. We still got a couple more left. The E3 shirts are coming. But Merk, I know you'll put that shirt up. I know the shirts is awesome, bro.
Shout out to Merk, shout out to Planet Xbox. Awesome. And of course, we have the Shinobi Gaming Ninja himself, Lord Cognito, spreading that realness in the realm of the ILP, not telling you what you want to hear, but what you need to hear. So obviously, I usually go into what the Lords are playing right now, but obviously for the most part, most of the Lords have been playing one specific game. But so I want to do something a little different. I know on Twitter there's this hashtag going around. I don't know if Attic saw it before. It's called the Game Struck 4. Did you see it, Attic, when people were hashtagging that?
Yeah, I don't keep up with that shit though.
So I want to do a little different, being I figure that most of us are.
I guess I'm going to be forced to keep up with it now, though.
Yes, you're going to keep up with it now, because I'll set it off to make it easy for you guys. So basically, I want to do is these are the 4 most influential titles to you as a gamer and why. So this was hard. This was hard for me. So pretty much what I did, looked at my whole gaming career and I said, okay, what's the 4 most important titles as to why I'm a gamer, right? So first to no surprise to y'all, because it's in my house and I played it, the arcade version of Shinobi. And Shinobi is very important to me. Obviously, the whole Cognito moniker, you know what I'm saying, the whole ninja thing, that's my wave, and actually made me fall in love with Sega. And from that point on, I would go to the arcades, I remember seeing that little blue logo. Yo, that game was made by Sega. You know what I'm saying? So everything else, Hang On, all other stuff. That's what started the love, which translated to the Master System, blah, blah, blah. The second for me is Halo 1. And obviously the Lords, we've talked about this many times. You know, that's the only game that I think brought an entire community together, like our whole blocks. Like we had different neighborhoods come together, right, King? You know what I'm saying? Like just for that Halo. And this is Halo 1 specifically because this is before the days of Xbox Live, you know?
Yeah, Xbox Halo changed the game.
Halo 1 changed
how we looked at games.
Yeah, like we've never seen anything. Putting the TV, everyone chipping in monies for TVs, you know, putting the LAN cable down, you know, the next man in. I mean, we had competitions, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody. Shout out to Melrose Projects, King.
Yeah. Listen, shout out to everybody that this is the first time in gaming that we had to become financially invested in technology to boost our gaming separate. Everybody had to buy a controller. We had to have 4 Xbox presents. Look, shout out to Lord Cognito for having the technology savvy that he knew which Ethernet cords that we needed to reduce the latency. And he knew everything. And you know, and Lord Sovereign too, because I'm pretty sure he was very integral in that. And then we got the TVs.
Fact. Shout out to the Wiz for giving us that 19-inch on sale last minute.
Yeah, last minute. I didn't buy one. We bought one like a display model. They had nothing else, and we bought a display model for like $100. And
that was from Crazy Sounds across the city. That was Crazy Sounds.
So Halo's definitely there for obvious reasons. You know what I'm saying? And the multiplayer changed the game. Just remember the fun times. Remember Mr. Howe, Hang 'em High, and all those fun maps and Blood Gulch and just hours upon hours of game. So Halo's always gonna have a place in my heart. The third one for me, it was hard because I knew Tekken had to be in there, but which one? It had to be Tekken 3 because I felt that was the pinnacle of the series. Not that the series fell off, but it's just like that's when it really became mainstream. My Harang character came out, fell in love with that. That's when I used to be in my prime. I was on my Bruce Lee joint. Bruce used to come challenge me, tap their foot. Let's get it. You know what I'm saying? That's the days.
He was out of control with that crap.
Hey, my problem, you know, my old love, but my problem, I was serious. You know what I'm saying? And like that's the day Solve knows, King knows, where we used to do the Iron Man challenges. You know what I'm saying? The 10 straight, and you fought that man until one of you had a 10 fight win difference. Do you know how hard that is? The mental toughness. Like that's how Lords were forged, right?
Shout out to Lolas.
Shout out to Lolas and Shizu.
Bamboozling
you. You know what I'm saying? The only man ever take my title 1 year. You know what I'm saying? That I had to come right back and get him. Shout out to King.
Yo, it was one match, and I'm not gonna front. The rest of the Lords went downstairs while me and Lord Lolas decided to go upstairs and get our 10 in. And I played a mind game with him because Lolas technically was better than me. All right, but my mind game with him, he was ready for me to. Yeah, he thought I would go in there and I would talk trash to him to amp him to give him the fuel to attack me. But what I did was I reversed it. I was like, good one. That was a good match right there. And then we kept going. I was like, good. And I was talking nice to him. So I disarmed him to the point his aggression wasn't there. But my aggression was still high because I was still remembering the crap that he was talking. And I beat the brakes off of him. Right? It was like 8-2.
Yes.
I beat the brakes off him. The second that last match went down, I got up and I yelled, "You dumb MF!" Ah! And the heart broken because he thought we was bonding at that time. He was heartbroken. He looked up at me like, "King, no, King, no." And I ran downstairs and I proceeded to tell everybody how I dismantled him. And
this man looked like he was in tears. He was like, "Lord Cognito, it wasn't like that. It was all love. We were praying."
And what you guys are failing to mention is that between Lolas and King, there were always extra side bets.
Yes.
Depending on who won.
And
So,
both of them also, to give context, both of them had the greatest ish talking I've ever seen. Like they would get the crowd so amped and laugh so hard off of everything they would do. Next to King, Lolas was that dude as far as just talking and being funny. You know what I'm saying? So that's a dude you don't want to lose to. You know what I'm saying? Those two, you can't lose to these two.
Nope.
You'll never hear the end of it. But shout out to King. That was one of his greatest Iron Man 10 streak victories. The Lolas joint, you know what I'm saying? That was classic. Shout out to Kai Box.
That was beautiful.
Shout out to Demon Carousel and all that. And the last one for me, and I really had to think about it. People are gonna be like, "Oh, I'm not surprised with this one," but it's got to be Destiny 1. It's got to be, because at the end of the day, I met so many people through that game. And then raiding, you know what I'm saying? Lord King, Lord Sinister, Lord Addict, you know what I'm saying? Like Destiny brought us all together. Let's be honest, Destiny is the reason why we started this podcast. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I can't discount. Shout out to Bontis. I mean, I remember going to Guardian Conference, meeting all these people, Fallout Plays, Holtzman, you know what I'm saying? The list goes on and on and on. And as flawed as Destiny 1 was, and how it got better, and then like obviously the pinnacle moment was like Taken King. When you say Addict, like that was like the pinnacle. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that was the height of Destiny.
And just like Addict just hitting me up and just saying, "Yo, Cog, man, let's do this hard raid." I'm like, I don't know, man. If I'm not doing it, if you ain't doing it, and King ain't doing it, Sinister ain't doing it. I met Lord Frodo. Like Lord Frodo knows. Like I refused to do the hard Taken King raid. It was such a chore. You know, it's funny. I hated it back then, and now I miss it. And it's just like, I remember we completed it, and it was Attic in the party, all us in the party. And it was like, I told her, I said, yo, we know we brothers for life now. We went through Vietnam, bro. Like, because I was that raid that when one person mess up, you had to side eye get him out of the party.
Yeah, like people side text each other. Like, yo,
I wouldn't side text anything. I just kick him.
Yo, that's how I met Lord Addict. I met Lord Addict through that.
And just even to Destiny 2 and Lord Addict running the dogs and stuff, like it's so many memories. And regardless to, like I said, what's going on in Destiny right now, and hopefully it turns it around, I can't take away from that impact it had on me as a gamer. So that's my 4. Addict, I'm gonna give it to you because I'm curious to your perspective, the young boy, the young wolf. What's the 4 most important games to you as a gamer?
Games like franchises or games like
just no, you have to not games.
Yeah, games for you.
Yeah, the you. Even if who cares? Even if it's some in the corner joint, but for you, it impacted you.
Probably Final Fantasy 7, 10, Woo! Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, and I would have to say the original Fable.
So wait, you said it was Zelda? What was the 3? I missed the other one.
Final Fantasy 7.
Final Fantasy 7 classic.
And 10.
Oh, 7 and 10.
Those are the most. 9's my favorite, but at the time, those are the most impactful.
Oh, for you, no doubt. And what was the 4th one? Because you went so fast.
Fable.
Fable, yeah, you're a Fable guy. I should shout out to Planet Xbox. I like that logo. All right, Lord Sov, you're up. 4 most impact. Your game struck 4.
4 is tough, man. But
it's tough. This is tough.
I would have to start with Double Dragon, right? Double Dragon. Man, like, again, I've always talked about like me playing in arcades with
bad dudes,
Cognito, bad dudes. The memories.
I was so jealous when you got that for free with the Master System solve. I remember because I got my Master System early and you got it late, and they started doing some pack-in deal with Double Dragon. I was tight.
Double Dragon before it was in the stores, man. Like that's what made me a Sega kid. I had a choice, and when I saw that, I was like, nah, I'm going with the Sega, and that was that. So I mean, all the times playing in the arcade with Cognito and the rest of my schoolmates, and then just having it in the house, being able to play with my brother, like Double Dragon's got to be one of them. Then Mario 64. I loved Mario on the SNES, but I was never great at platformers, so that was Kaibatsu's lane. So like I loved it, but it frustrated me to a certain point. When it brought it into 3D, it was more for me. Like I got it at that point. I was like, oh, okay, I get this. Like for whatever reason, I gravitated more to it. And it was just a revelation of a game. Same with Ocarina of Time. Ocarina of Time, has to be my third one because it took the Zelda formula and it put it into 3D in a way that immersed you like never before. Like the way I sort of feel about God of War right now is what Ocarina did for me back then. I was like, wow, man, they really God of War is derivative, right? But it polishes up a lot of those core concepts.
Right.
And then the last one has to be Halo 1. And I'm leaving out Tekken, because I don't play fighting games as much anymore, but that was definitely a formative game, especially 3, just like you. But it would have to be Halo 1. Halo 1 to this day, you play Halo 1 on Heroic to this day, it's probably some of the best enemy AI you're going to find in a game in terms of reacting to specific situations, how they would duck behind cover, how they would flank you. Like even later games in the series don't do it as well. Like it was something about that game that really, and then, you're playing the game, you're loving it. And then when you go down into the library and you face the Flood for the first time, you're like, what is this?
What is this? The game changed on its head at that point, right?
Yeah, it was.
Halo was legendary.
Yeah, it was the definition of a killer app. Like it sold Xboxes, that game.
No doubt. Lord King, I'm very curious. I am so curious with your choices. What is your 4
It's gonna be Amazon.
And I'm curious because after you say your 4, I want to test you with something. Continue.
All right. Well, my first one is gonna have to be Street Fighter 2. I played all the Street Fighters, and Street Fighter 2 is the only game that I purchased on every platform that I was able to purchase it on. For my simple love of that game and what it meant. Like, I seen a guy actually get stabbed in front of me because he was cheesing.
Wow. It was real.
The dude told him. The dude told him. Remember when I was working as a director in a community center over there on 116? It was so real that the dude put his quarter up and they was fighting, and he lost, and he looked at the guy and said, yo, stop cheesing me, bro. Remember, you'll be able to punch over the dude and you duck down and you toss him. Right? So he had Ken. I'll never forget it to this day. He had Ken. He looked over at the dude and said, don't cheese me again. Stop cheesing me, bro. And the dude cheesed him again. He proceeded to pull out a pocket knife and poked the brakes off this dude.
Yeah, I remember
and ran out the store.
Yeah,
and I was like, I said, this is crazy.
This is what this game
it's stabbing people. They like, for real. And I'm sitting there in shock, like, wow.
Street Fighter's a good choice for you too. For another reason, only because me and you got history, and you brought the port for Super NES for the first time, and I brought my idiot friend over who you wanted to punch in the face. He was trying to say that it wasn't arcade perfect, and nobody was trying to hear that at that time. So yeah, Street Fighter for you, very important.
Yeah, I just paid $150 for my cartridge, my Super NES cartridge on Elizabeth Street in Canal, and Lord Cognito brought his ponytail wearing friend over to my community center, and his ponytail wearing friend had the nerve. I think that's where my hate of ponytails have originated. I hate ponytails. And this guy gonna stand on the side with his arms folded and go, yeah, but it's not arcade perfect. I looked over Cognito and said, get him out of here. He's no longer safe in here. His parlay is no longer good.
I had to get him out of there, y'all.
I will get this dude jump so fast in a heartbeat. Finish him.
Man, so that was Street Fighter's 1. But give me 3 more. Come on.
The second one has to be Halo 1.
Woo!
That's when I lost relationships over Halo 1. Because y'all know my ex-girlfriends would say there's no way in hell that y'all playing video games for 14 hours.
Halo, baby.
And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. They thought girls was over there serving us in your house with drinks or something. I don't know what they thought. But the camaraderie with that game, I met so much great friends. They're not friends anymore. They're family. That's
I'm done with Sam. He just says at E3 putting his hair in a ponytail just to annoy you.
Well, he can do that. He can do that all he wants. He won't ride in the cars with us. You put that ponytail on, you will not be in the car with us. All right, I'm letting you know that right now.
Okay, yo, Sam, I'm gonna give you some Street Fighter 2 box art when you put it in the ponytail.
Don't do that. Do not do that ponytail. I'm gonna tell you right now. You're not being in vehicles with us. You be riding El Caminos out there in California.
Continue.
My next game, and it's gonna probably be like y'all be like, oh, shut up. Breath of the Wild. I played almost every Zelda that there was.
You got Breath of the
Wild.
Oh,
Breath of the Wild, it became part of my DNA, my blood or something. It got to the point where I was checking in over 21 amiibos every 12 hours. I sat there like my kids thought I was crazy. I had a table right next to me with every amiibo. Yo, and I would scan them in like clockwork every 12 hours.
No, you didn't do it every 12 hours just so you could get the advantage.
Every 12 hours, I was checking, and it would be like, it's not ready yet. And I would put him to the side.
I'm done with you.
That he's not ready yet.
He got to the point where he didn't know which amiibo he used, so he had to double check.
That's right.
A couple minutes later.
So I had them in sections. This one was done and this one wasn't done. And it got to the point where I would come in and I would have to do it. But the game was so much fun. The beastiness in which you was able to attack the world. I think Breath of the Wild really married what a 3D adventure game is supposed to be. The fun, the playability, the story. The story drug you in. It's probably the only game that I will give a perfect 10 if I will have to give a 10 to a game. I will give that game a perfect 10. And yes, it was game of the year whenever it was released. That was the only game that you should have played that year. My last game will have to be Fight Night.
I was just about to say, because I was like, if you don't have a boxing game in your top 4, I'm gonna have an issue with you.
The reason why is, and I'm gonna tell you, I've played every boxing game that there was from
Mike Tyson,
Amigo, right? All the way up to Legends, all the way through from what it was, that Ring King, pat, and the afros will blow up, yeah. But it came together on that first Fight Night, and we saw Roy Jones. I remember I looked at Cognito and said, "They are here.
They're here." That was the pinnacle of graphics for us. Yeah.
Remember we met him?
Yes.
Who's the Tanada or whatever? He curved you.
Yeah, he curved me.
Because he gave Lord Cognito the number. Yo, call me. Yo, we're gonna do this. The games. Man, we were such a fan of that dude. I fanboyed out for that dude because he put my heroes in the flesh and represented them properly. So that's my last game. I know probably for some of y'all guys, y'all like, oh, shut up, King.
Nah, we understand it.
Yeah. For me, it gave you the feeling like when you hit a dude and the hearing went, and the blurry, and the knockout is about to happen.
And that introduced. Remember that was the punching system where you have to actually use the analog in those motions, right? And you punch the uppercut.
It was
they need a fight now. I'm surprised the series went away. They need to come back. Or Floyd doing something? What's going on?
I don't know what the hell's happening.
Yeah, Floyd's been making some games, but who knows? I don't know what that is.
Not with that engine, not with those people. UFC took over because UFC is you can do more, grapple and stuff like that. So I don't think EA will ever approach a boxing game again.
I was a solid game struck. I'm impressed, Lord Kick. I didn't think you'd have Zelda there. I'm very impressed. Wow, that's what's up.
Zelda is that thing.
That's that way. So we're going to move on. Last week's poll results are in, and the people have spoken to the question. If your favorite console company routinely disappoints you by the decisions or lack of moves it makes, is it okay to consistently demand more from said company or console? The winner at 61%, four-way poll, cruising to victory, was the yes, keep demanding better group. Coming in at second place at 18% was the no. If you are that upset, get rid of the console group. Also tied for second at 18%. Stop clapping, King. 18%. Own both your favorite and the competition. Problem solved group. And coming in the shallow fourth place at only 3% was the My Console Never Disappoints Me group. So the people do not agree with the Lords last episode. What do the Lords think about this? I'll start with Lord King.
Y'all are wrong. Y'all dead wrong. I don't care what y'all say. Either own the competition or get rid of that loser who's not performing. We're not keeping our weight up. Get him out of here. But I'm still functional. No, you are not.
And there you have it, Lord Psalm, Lord Attic. Anything to chime in?
No.
I mean, listen, like you gotta accept what you have, right? Like you can always you bought the product, you want better. Yeah. Request better, ask for better. Now, at the same time, you can't make direct comparisons like, look what they got, I need that. Like, no, just go get that over there if that's the case. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you have the right to ask for it, but at the same time, you're limiting yourself. If what you want is someplace else, then get that as well, or trade up.
I feel you. I feel, but the argument that they're going against the Lords, because not just you, is that they're saying, well, you have to keep demanding better because otherwise things won't change. Like, don't let them off the hook. Stay on them. You know, you're the consumer.
Those are broke people. Those are broke people.
Oh.
Those are broke people. Broke people. That's broke people logic. I can't afford to buy it too, so I expect you to outperform. Work harder. No, you work harder. You work harder to buy too.
I'm done. So that's what we have on the poll. We got a new poll cooking up. It's gonna be interesting. Stay tuned. So actually, before we start off the show real quickly, I want to start off on a serious tone. I just want to pay respects to a fallen Lord in our gaming community, a Lord who served his country, and that's Matt, aka Xbox Addict, not our Addict, Xbox Addict. There was some confusion. I know Addict got hit up a couple times. I'm like, no, he's okay. People was asking, but in all seriousness, I briefly had a chance to cross paths with him at 2 different fan fests. He was always very positive and respectful to me. Also had like one of the most amazing gaming collections, Lord King, like almost like Mr. High Level. So like if you check out his Twitter page, it wasn't just Xbox. He was a serious retro collector, true gamer at heart. Definitely proud of the entire gaming community. Even Phil Spencer, all the Microsoft execs were changing their their avatars on Twitter to Gaming Addict, Xbox Addict, and as well as other console gamers from PlayStation or whatever. So it just shows the show. Put us aside the petty console war differences, not nonsense. He honored Lord Matt, you know what I'm saying, and put with the avatars, and just shows how much he was loved and missed. So I know there's a GoFundMe up for the family and the wife, and he left some really beautiful children behind. A link is in the description. So Iron Lord salute to him, and like I said, please rest in peace. Yep. And we will miss you, bro. And like I said, we just want to pay our respects as a fellow Lord. So that's what we got. And we're going to get into the show now. So what we are all here for.
Hit those like.
Hit them like. The launch of the masterpiece on 420. The Nintendo Labo was released.
You know what? It's poetic that it was released off 420 because a lot of you guys are high.
You have that great Nintendo Labo discussion right now. You ready, Saul? No, let me stop. Lord Attic, you ready?
I'm not even engaging in that conversation.
And all jokes aside. B-Buddy, what up? God of War talk, y'all. So we want to break this thing down. Obviously the Lords have played it all. Most of the Lords have played it. We're all in different stages. I'm assuming King is at the beginning. I'm like right after him. Then I believe Sovereign is further along, and then Lord Addict has actually finished it. The difficult game. You know what I'm saying? The savage that he is.
I'm impressed and disgusted at the same time.
Yeah, I'm disgusted. He reminds me of Kaibatsu so much.
Yeah, but I told you those two dudes. Those two, you can't let them
hold of a new game, man. Yeah, they're savages. So first, we're gonna get down with the honest, non-spoilery impressions that we can give so far. Then the second part, we're gonna talk about the media and the media bias aspects of what's going on. If there's media bias aspects of what's going on, we'll get into that. But let's just start now with our honest impressions. So let's start from the beginning. You know what I'm saying? actually, no. Let's do it this way. Because King, let's start with Addict. Addict, you have seen, you've done it all. What is your honest impressions, non-spoilery, of God of War?
It's a good game. I think it's the best game that's came out on the PlayStation platform this gen.
Okay.
By far.
Okay. So again, now as far as what prior to God of War on PlayStation, what had the title personally for you?
Bloodborne.
Okay, all right.
And then I really enjoyed Until Dawn too.
Okay.
I played like the first stage of Ratchet and Clank, and I turned it off. I'm going to get back to The Last of Us because I do want to play that. I've just got so much stuff going on. I don't intend on playing Uncharted, but now someone's challenged me $200 to beat an Uncharted 4 on the hardest difficulty. So I'm gonna have to just take that L and play Uncharted 4.
Okay.
That's pretty much about all.
My question to you is, what makes it the best in your opinion? What are the key factors for you that's like, yo, this is why, y'all, like, this is why God of War is that wave?
When it comes to, hold on, let me take out this other earphone. Sorry, I was playing God of War while I was.
I heard the buttons mashing. I was like, wait, somebody's playing.
No, I'm fighting the Valkyrie looking things, and I started I started when you guys started the whole
sports.
The whole combat sports.
Yeah, I already know.
I literally did like an entire temple in that 20 minutes training out about that. But when it comes to everyone in this chat, you see me on Planet Xbox, you see me on ILP. From the start, I've said I don't feel this new God of War.
Right, you were against it.
And it's just the way that, the camera angle, because I felt like it was going to Last of Us. And let's be real here, they did Last of Us this game. They put it in the hardcore story orientated. There's no, there is a reason that he has a kid now, is because they went around that kind of, having another player, well, not necessarily a player, but an AI that's around that you can build some kind of core relationship with. They've done this for the past couple games now. Uncharted, to my understanding, you have someone with you at almost all times. So they did that on this, and first off, I didn't like the kid. When I was seeing him, I was like, this kid is annoying. He's going to be very frustrating. I'm not trying to have another Ashley moment from Resident Evil 4. Played the game, is nothing like that. They have a good balance. I did feel like the game was that Kratos felt really clunky at the beginning of the game. It felt like a generic Souls game at the start.
Okay.
But after you unlock abilities and everything, it started balancing out, and you started feeling like Kratos. They took the essence of the older God of Wars. I didn't think they'd be able to do it. To a point, they got the atmosphere, but they lacked stuff like puzzles. Like pretty much every puzzle in this game is just throwing an axe at something and freezing some kind of coil. That's all.
Okay.
I didn't like that. I didn't like the fact that the troll that they literally showed you at E3, you fight that thing like 15 times. I brought that up on Twitter. I got harassed.
Slow down on the floor, because I got a separate segment for that. So I just want you to focus on the positive. I just want you to focus on why it's what it is.
It's amazing. When I played it, I was like, I don't understand how, we'll go into the whole puzzle mechanics and stuff.
Yep.
I don't understand how they are going to make this game feel like God of War with that Last of Us thing, especially with no jump button. Jump button. But then I played it, and then at the end of the game, I was like, oh, that's how they did it. The game,
that was your fear, right? You were like, how are they going to implement the core mechanics of the older God of Wars into this style that they've chosen, right? That was your main concern. I remember.
I don't care. This PK bed, dude, I don't care about that. I don't care about the lore. There's no reason to have the same troll 15 times with different colors. There's no reason.
We will get into the flaws.
But at the end of the day, take the Poseidon fight from God of War 3. That was an epic moment in God of War 3. That was the first 10 minutes. They did that same thing here with The Stranger. I'm not really going to go into any of that, but
Stranger, y'all.
They took that hype that you have when you fight Poseidon in God of War 3. They enhanced that and they kept it the whole game.
Shout out to BK Best. He said, "Addict, read the lore. There's a reason the trolls are."
Already addressed him.
Oh, okay. I love Addict. You busted your gun early this morning. I love it. Okay.
The game's great. When I bring stuff
on me in a second.
When I bring stuff up that, and people come at me, they're like, "Oh, And what's funny is like some of especially the PlayStation fanboys, you can't say anything negative. Like not even a little bit.
They about to get upset with the king.
I say just like, there's too many trolls of the same thing. They cut me out on Twitter. It's like, look, man, like I'm hyped for this game. And then I got attacked for making a post on Twitter saying that I'm still hyped for State of Decay 2. People really attacking me saying they were tweeting me. They're like addicts sitting here hyping, because it's the crumb side on Planet Xbox that I'm a part of. Sitting there, addict, you're crazy. You should only be hyped for God of War pretty much. I'm like, you guys are like ridiculous. First off, I'll play anything I want to. Second off, I am still hyped for State of Decay 2.
No doubt.
And then I got attacked on Lucas' podcast because I said, as much as I enjoy God of War, and I do, I loved every moment of it. I don't play games like I play God of War very often. I still like Breath of the Wild better.
Okay, all right.
Yep. Thank you.
And that's
Delilah.
I get Delilah. I see you. I know, Lady Delilah. We see you. We're gonna get to you. We're gonna get to you.
And the reason for that is I went into this expecting the worst. Like I really did. Like I went into this like, it's gonna feel clunky, especially when they showed more stuff. I went into Breath of the Wild as we went to this. There were skeptics, including myself, with this game. Yeah. But if you look, first off, both of them clearly nostalgic. Both of them are. But Zelda, like I said, when we were mentioning the 4 most inspiration games, God of War wasn't on that list. Zelda was.
Okay, fair enough.
Notice it wasn't in nobody's list, right?
Oh, you're savage. Lord Psalm, you are up next. I need your opinion. First of all, how far are you, and what are your impressions of it so far?
I can't really tell how far I am. The game seems like it's huge, but
how many hours? Let's just say, like, how many hours do you think about?
I don't think they tell you. To be honest with you.
And I know. I mean, I've been playing since basically Wednesday, but I try to get all the side stuff that I can.
Right. So you're playing it like me, where you're really being very intricate with collectibles and trying to find the different, hack silvers and.
Yeah, hack silvers, and like you have like there's some like birds and stuff, like collectible stuff, all and stuff off to the side that you don't have to do. And then stuff that's probably too difficult early on in the game that you'll find out real quick to leave alone and can't come back to.
Yeah.
But I'm at the point where I've seen like a couple of ish moments that tell you, okay, this game is much bigger than what I assumed it was going to be. You know how like when you watch movie trailers and you hear the movie trailer guy like an epic story in a world where this game this game is that, like, it is an epic story, like it's huge. And the thing that impresses me most about the game, besides like the overall production values, is that everywhere you go is different. Like everywhere there's so many different looking vistas, and like they really crafted each and every part of this game. They really created their own version of Norse lore. Like the love and care that went into this game is evident from the jump. So that impressed me about it, right? And the fact that Kratos in the beginning, a lot of things with Kratos, the argument with Kratos is that he's one note, right? He's always been one note, angry dude. And he's still one note. Like he's still one note, but he's a more subdued one note, right? Like he's different. Like, and to be honest, like, and you have to keep playing the game to see more, because in the beginning it's just boy this, and he's just straight up annoyed with him. And then as the kid progresses, you see that the kid is more willing to engage him. Like, nah, man, you dead wrong about this. And you see that the kid becomes more defiant. and he pushes Kratos to have to open up a little bit more. It's a very slow burn to that. Like if in the beginning, you're gonna think he's the same, and because I wondered, like, what people talk about, like, wow, Kratos is deep, like he's layered now. And then when you're playing, you're like, nah, he doesn't seem layered. He just seems different. Like he's kind of a broken man in a lot of ways.
And he really is. Like I do want to stress that this is the same Kratos that we love from the other God of Wars, but it's pretty much like it's legitly a broken Kratos. Like he's still a hatred man. He hates everything. But pretty much like the only thing that he even stands is his son, and half the time he don't even stand his ass. But like
Kratos was never that though. If y'all look at the games, he was never. First of all, he loved his family. He hated what happened to his family. He was tortured by the gods because the gods lied to him. So that's where his hatred towards the gods came from. So I mean, I will let Sovereign finish, and then I'm going to get at you, dude.
And that's to King's point, right? I think what this game does perfectly is that it brings him to another point in his life. This is in all respects a sequel as much as it is a reboot of the game. Like
it is a sequel. They're rebooting it, but it's definitely a sequel.
It is that same Kratos with all of that stuff that he's endured weighing on him now, and now him having the opportunity to sort of fix that a little bit and sort of make up for his errors a little bit, and he doesn't know how to do it. The crazy thing is, like, what I see is that Kratos, with all the daddy issues he's had, like, you know what I'm saying, the big time daddy issues, he's not a bad father per se. He just doesn't know how to be a father.
He is an overbearing father. A lot of things that he was doing, I saw similarities in a lot of things that he does, because the expectations that he's trying to build a man, and he doesn't understand that you have to love to build a man.
Exactly. The tender part is lost on him. Yeah, exactly. He doesn't.
You look towards the wife to do that.
Exactly.
But
and then you gotta look at the end of the day. Like we might be in a different region, but he was still raised as a Spartan. Like they weren't raised like that. They weren't.
Yeah, they didn't. They put kids to the fire.
If a kid had a deformity or anything, they would literally kill them. Like any kind of deformity at all.
They kill kids. Listen, don't think Spartans are nice people. They kill kids. Okay? So the fact that he wanted to put his hand on a little kid, it was like, no love. You get out there, you tackle that dude, took his ball away. Yeah, listen.
Get into it.
Just let Lord Salvin finish, and I'm gonna get to it.
No, I mean,
he's still in it, and I don't want to overstep him.
Oh,
did you just Kanye West him?
No, he did. He did it. What's his name?
Continue, so.
So, I mean, for me, the game it just does it from combat to the setting to just basically the production values, the stories opening up more and more. I've seen people say that the writing is better than Last of Us. I don't know. I haven't gotten there yet. I would say not.
I wouldn't go that far.
I wouldn't go there.
Shut up. Yo, this hyperbole, people.
I would just say this: it improves. It's just such a complete product. Like it's hard to find. There's faults with it. Don't question. It's not a perfect game by any means, but to bring Kratos back in this way and to make him relevant today, and to give him, to force you to have to be with him the whole time, right? No cinematics, no nothing, just straight up on Kratos, and to make you want to be there is a special thing. It's a special game through and through. We don't get games like this very often with this attention to detail. We just
at the end of the day, we're about to let King go. At the end of the day, I don't want, I hate when people use the word perfect. First off, this game's not a 10 out of 10 by any means.
The chat is disagreeing. They 10 out of 10 the finest going at you.
I don't care what the chat
Delilah's with you, though.
It's an amazing game.
Delilah has common sense.
It's a masterpiece. Again, 10 out of 10. That's a relative. That's a subjective thing, but I find it to be
that's up to you. That's you as a gamer.
Yeah.
Okay.
But what I want to point out, what they did, I don't want to point out any kind of negative things they did because there's a few. Right. I want to point out that this is how you successfully bring an old franchise into the new age.
Okay, Lord King. You are up.
All right, so what we doing here? We doing the positives only right now? Because,
Right now, we're just gonna do
my segment going to be very short.
Okay. We'll do the positives. You know what impressed you,
And give my overall impressions.
Yeah,
right?
your overall impressions.
All right, so let me start off by saying that my time allocated to such game wasn't all that crazy. The game came out. I could have got it the day before at 9 p.m. like everybody else, but I work at night and I really didn't care to get up and get it like that. I waited till they opened in the morning and I picked up the game. And when I picked up the game, I went and I threw it inside my system. And again, PlayStation with their slow loading crap, I had to wait for that, right? So I put it in and I was just like, all right, you load up. And I got on PUBG with Death. And me and Def was just like going at it, and we had such a good time. And then I met like 10 other people and started this whole new aggressive clique in PUBG. Them remembered that, God of War loaded in. Let me start playing that.
Oh my God!
I was like, yo,
get to the part where you threw on God of War, please.
Listen, so Def was like, yo, go have fun. I'm like, all right, cool. So I ran over there, and
he didn't want to do this.
No, I really didn't. So I turned on my PlayStation, and then I went to play, and my battery was low. Now, mind you, I charged this controller. I said, man, I got to sit here and let this controller charge. Well, give me some more PUBG time. So I put the controller to charge, and I went and played PUBG.
Are we ever going to get to when you actually...
Yeah, we're going to get to it, but I got to give you my joy. I got to give you my joy. Right? So
I feel like the conversation up to it's going to be longer than the actual conversation about it.
Yeah, you told me to give you the good part, right? I'm giving it to you.
So PUBG is better than God of War.
We got that.
I went to sleep, and then I got up and I said, let me play this God of War. Get it.
So this is like 5 hours later. We want to be fair. Like
it's a whole next day later.
Wow. So now we got to the part where we threw it on.
Yeah, I threw it on, and I'm like, ooh, look nice. Ooh. Graphics. Yeah, I seen this in Zero Horizon Dawn. All right. I'm waiting for this new graphic kick in the door and attack me, right? So I was like, okay. I like the atmosphere. Looks nice. The detail on Kratos looks nice. I said, ooh, he's throwing the axe. He got Yaba Yanga. Because that's Thor's axe. If y'all don't know, Thor has an axe that does that. All right. And then, the bull thing, and it became very evident early, as soon as I picked up the controller, this wasn't God of War. It became very evident, but we're talking about positives. So I'm going to keep it on a positive because I'm going to go in on you 10 lovers. You guys that you have other games that are really like higher scores and 10s. But it's a very, very damn good game. Is it God of War? I don't really think so, but I'm keep going to positives. The musical score, fantastic. The 4K, I'm not gonna say checkerboard now. I'm not gonna do that to you. The 4K looks very good. Very sharp. He's the controls on him is very tight. He's not as clunky as I thought he would be with the over-the-shoulder view. The use of the little boy, he's very integral, like Addict said. The little boy actually is useful.
Yeah, almost like a distraction in certain places.
Actually, a lot of times, that little kid is more useful than Kratos.
I killed entire groups of enemies with just him.
Wow,
he's really kind of busted because he has as many arrows as you want, and once you level him up,
he's a beast.
That was my thought in that, because I noticed that he had 3 arrows in his quiver, but he never stopped unloading. But again, we'll talk about the positives, right? So the game looks good. It plays tight. It sounds great. I'm heavy on sound.
Yeah.
So the sound of the game is God of War. If you can really take one aspect of that game and say, does it fall all the way back? And I want y'all to hit those likes because I see 44 and I only got 23. Please like this. The sound, they captured that sound of God of War. God of War sound was as big as its gameplay and graphics. So do I believe that the sound so far is outpacing the rest of the game? Yes. Is it true to form? Yes. The graphics is very high up there. Is it
I don't think it's the best looking game at all.
Let's get to it. Y'all got me on the tip of my tongue wanting to explode on certain stuff. So, all right, let me get to my segment if King is finished, and then I'm gonna let y'all.
Yeah, I just gave you all the positives I got for it, and now I'm gonna rip y'all apart in a second.
All right, let me go, because my perspective is different. God of War to me, I'm gonna get killed for my next statement, but I gotta keep it true at the round table. God of War for me is really not, it was always a solid franchise, but it's never been a franchise I really was passionate about. I remember playing a couple of the other games sparingly. I remember buying the Vita one, you know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, it was epic, but it's kind of like what Sovereign said. Well, he was always one note to me. And like, he just didn't do it for me. It just, that style of game just didn't do it for me. So when they made the switch and I saw the trailers and, you know, Lord Ack was there when we shout out to Lord Whiskey, we watching it. And I'm just like, this is the God of War for me. You know what I'm saying? Like just the over the shoulder joint, you know, the more cinematic storytelling kind of a feel. You know what I mean? So shout out to Lord Aaron Summers in the chat saying that's how my feeling was. I was never really interested in God of War until this one. So when I saw it, I'm like, okay. So now, you know, it's come release time, the way the game starts off. I'm like, okay, now I'm just going to keep it 1,000. And I know I'm going to get killed by Lord King and Addict by this. In my opinion, right? And first of all, shout out to Lord Solve. Get your TVs together. My TV was together. My TV was not together. I had the technical Lord. I called him up because I had this issue with Hellblade and I had this issue with God of War. When I was playing it and I got like a KS, what is it, 848,000? What's the drink we got? I forgot.
KS 8000.
KS 8000 HDR. Okay, you know, mid-tier HDR 4K kind of situation. And I remember playing Hellblade, and I remember when Sanu, I would rotate the camera around her, there'd be these little artifacts on it, like she had dust mites on it, like Pigpen from Charlie Brown. So I'm like, why is these dust mites? And I remember, shout out to my boy Dealer Gaming, he was saying, you know, Hellblade on the X is the best looking game on the X, period. But I'm like, not in my house. It don't look that great. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Lord Kaibatsu. I'm sitting there, I'm like, what is it? So I didn't pay it no mind until God of War came. I got the God of War and I was like, okay, it looked good. But then Lil Atreus came on the stream and I saw the dust mites on his head. And I said, no. So I paused the game. I called the most technical. I said, Lord Sovereign, you have to get at me with my TV settings. Something is wrong. Because everybody can't be saying this game looks like the most greatest thing. And on my TV, it don't. So we went through the settings. Come to find out I had some stupid HDR simulating mode on that should have been off. We got my settings right. Boom. Threw it back on. Good Lord. Now, let me tell y'all, I'm going to say it. It's going to be blasphemous. I don't care. I'm going to get killed. That 2160p checkerboarding, whatever it's doing, in my opinion, prior to this moment, Rise Son of Rome had the title for character models, face details. That day is over. We are now at a new age. When I seen Kratos' skin, when he hugged the tree, that's all I needed to see. When the game continued and as it continued to play and I continued to see things. Now you may say, okay, there may be some frame pacing issues. You know, I can hear Lord Kaibatsu in the back of my head when he goes into the sprint. I get it. You know, if you're playing on performance mode, okay, fine. I get it. But character model, I've played it all. Assassin's Creed Origin. I've played what's the other joint that got the Gears 4? Oh, y'all not touching Kratos. I'm sorry. I hate to break it to y'all. That is over. This is the greatest, in my opinion.
That is over.
This is the greatest. I don't know how they're doing it. That it's so great. I'm like, yo, this has got to be full motion. Like, I don't know how they're doing. Shout out to Sony Santa Monica. I just can't believe it. So I'm just going to leave that there. Now, as far as the game itself, I'm not that far. I'm maybe about 5-6 hours in. Okay. All I'm going to say in reference to what I've played so far, if you have not gotten to the stranger in the opening sections of the game. All I'm going to say, non-spoilers, is that part, in my opinion, is better than a lot of classic games end bosses. Like that part. Go ahead, Attic. I hear you want to jump in.
No, I'm not saying nothing.
Okay,
I'm actually fighting the Valkyrie.
Okay, cool. Go get it. That part right there, I was like, okay, this is how y'all doing the first hour. This is what we okay. I see the smack in the mouth. So to me, the gauntlet was laid down at that point. I still got a lot to do. I still see certain little, puzzle elements. I hear what y'all saying a lot as far as, the puzzle stuff. I get that, you know what I'm saying? And as I get on, I have to judge it more in its entirety as a Game of the Year candidate. It's too early for me to say any type of hyperbole like that. All I will say is shout out to my man Lord Summers in the chat rapping, say the fight with the stranger. But it's like from a graphical standpoint, to me, it's undeniable. The title has been given. The bar has been raised. They're doing this with less tech, and it looked better. I'm gonna say it looked better than anything on Xbox One X. I'm sorry, come for me, at me, do whatever you want to do.
I'll be coming at you
that's
in a
what
second.
There's no game you talking about that's coming for this
you.
game.
And
There's
then
no game.
listen.
Zero.
I'm gonna pay for your gas.
I've got them
bring
all.
me my shades anyway, and you gotta come pick up these shirts anyway.
Let's go.
So I don't know how you gonna get over to my house today.
Let's go.
I got that Q9.
Just get on with your planes.
I got that Q97.
You could Q9.
I'm gonna blow your eyeballs out your head. I'm gonna blow your eyeballs out your head, and you're gonna see it, and then you're gonna see something else, and you're gonna be like, "Yeah, that is kind of true, right there." What you said.
Nah, I'm not. I'm not. But continue. Now let's get to the floors. Go ahead, King. You up? I've done my read.
I'm back. I'm back. The dude that you love to hate. Baby. Now
let's go.
I'm hearing all this, and you know what? I'm that dude. I didn't like Michael Jordan. I'm gonna give you a background of me.
You said that.
I'm gonna give you a background of me.
Said that.
All right. I didn't like Michael Jordan. I'm not a Mike Tyson fan. I'm not a bandwagon hugger.
Facts.
So all you dudes out there that to follow that wave, that dude. Oh, he's that dude. I'm not a Steph Curry lover.
Facts.
All right. But what I do love, I love excellence. So yes, I do love LeBron James, and he gets it in. So I want you to understand a couple of things. I'm a Scottie Pippen fan. I'm a hard work dude. All right. There's other games on that system that are actually they own. That's not God of War. Let's clear that up right there. That's that crap that you're doing. That's Thor. The story of Thor. He's throwing his helmet. The story of Thor.
Let's get to the
No. We already told you the graphics is fantastic. We already talked about the fantastic graphics.
Okay.
We already did that already.
At least give them that.
You got fantastic graphics. I'm going into the floors now. Enough of me being nice holding your hand.
My bad.
Boy. Since I had to hear that over 400 times since I booted up the game. Boy, it got annoying. Boy, oh my God. It's not God of War. I know what they did. That game was something else, and they was like, you know what, let's slap God of War on it, and it'll sell. The media bias to this thing, we'll get to that part. But let's get to these geek floors. Let's get to these geek floors. All right? Now, I want to say a lot of stuff, but just PG.
It's definitely not the story of Thor, but they're coming for it.
Yo, listen, no, you don't know who Red Beard Thor is. So you can sit there in Norse mythology, but you're going to talk to the wrong person. So stop it, get out of your feelings, and get into the game. Out of your feelings, into the game. All right? Let me tell you a couple of things where that game could be any other game but God of War, and it would be nice. It would still be nice, but would it rate as high? No, it wouldn't. Would it capture the crowd? No, it wouldn't. It's very cinematic. It's very good to show. It's a very good game to stream. See, what they're doing now is they're going to games where it presents well. That game presents the best on your system. I swear, it's no lie. It presents better than Zero Horizon Dawn. And Zero Horizon Dawn, to me, looks better than that. And I'm going to get funky with you because it's open world from the Jizz. I can see a mountain over there and I can go there. Where that mountain I can do in God of War, where you go from chamber to chamber, room to room.
It's hub world.
All right.
So yeah, I completely agree.
Let's keep it 100% funky. You can use all your graphics all in one room. You're in one room.
But the
You're in one
argument
room
could
with
be
3
said that,
dudes.
the argument could
The
be said
most
that against
dudes you.
Ryan Sutter Rome too, though. Let's be real. Let's be
Yeah,
fair.
no, Rise. I'm not sitting there worrying about Rise. We ain't talking about Rise. We're talking about the 10s. We're talking about
no
this
doubt.
game that hits
Fair
rocking 10s.
Fair enough.
Rise didn't get 10s coming out, but Rise should have got 10s coming out. But we're going to talk about this game that's rocking these numbers. These numbers these are bamboozled numbers. This is fool's gold. Listen, is it an 8.5? Yeah. Is it in some circles a 9? But for you, that person that's been waiting for this, it's a 10 for you. Now, you got fanboys that want to sit there and say, you don't have this game on your system. I have the game on my goddamn system because I got the system. I don't limit myself, so I'm not going to go with the hyperbole. I'm going to give you the 100% real. I just told you Breath of the Wild on an inferior system is a better game to me. Art-wise, it can't hold a candle to that game. All right? It cannot hold a candle to it. Graphical, not at all. But engagement-wise,
you haven't seen.
You haven't seen a lot, though. Can you?
Haven't.
No, I haven't. No, I haven't seen a lot. I'm telling you that God of War graphically destroys that game.
Oh,
I'm not telling you that Breath of the Wild. Art direction.
I'm talking about the art direction stuff you're saying. Like I played.
No. I know it's gonna look beautiful. I purposely.
But I'm just talking about the world they crafted, not about how they look necessarily. I'm talking about just the world they crafted, like in terms of like
the atmosphere.
Right. Exactly.
The atmosphere is beautiful. I'm loving the atmosphere. I'm loving the game so far, but the hyperbole I'm not buying into because it's not God of War. I played every last God of War. I played every last God of War from beginning to end.
I'd have to cut you. He said God of War right now is solid 8.5. He's 3 hours in, and he said it hasn't grabbed him like Horizon Zero Dawn did. Wow, this is interesting.
Thank you.
The beginning is definitely a slow burn. Definitely a slow burn.
It's a sleep burn. I went to sleep. It's a sleep burn. I fell asleep with the controller in my hand. And I'm going to keep it funky with you guys.
Did you get to the stranger?
No, I didn't get.
You didn't get to the stranger, so I really can't talk to him.
I'm going to get to the stranger, and I'm going to play the game. Okay, I'm going to finish the game. I'm just letting you know that does the game have, it's not God of War. It has flaws. It's a very, I swear I'm not taking nothing away from the PlayStation exclusive. And this is your moment. This is your moment. Stand up there and yell from the top, highest peak. You can do it. But I want you to do this, right? I want you to do this, you little PlayStation buggers. I want you to do this. I want you to do this. Take that, because you're gonna remake that game over again. You're gonna play it again on a PlayStation 5, like they did The Last of Us. You're gonna do it again in HD, whatever, real 4K. That's what they're gonna tell you, real 4K.
Oh my God.
Put that game on an X. Does it look better?
Of course.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm. No, this is for the PlayStation fan. This is for the PlayStation fan. Sit on that.
PlayStation buggers. Oh my God. Let's jump in, please, because now we get into
like.
And say what you're gonna say. Then
one thing I have to disagree with. It just seems that King is, in part, criticizing the game for what it's not, and not for the game that's there. Like I'm not.
You want me to love it for that, right?
No, just like you said, it's not gonna. If it didn't have the God of War name and was the exact same game, does it get 10s? Probably not. It'll get 9s, 9.5s. Maybe it's not getting 10s because it's a brand new whatever. It's a brand new IP. It's not God of War, right? I think part of what brings it to whatever the people consider a 10, whatever masterpiece, is the fact that they were able to take Kratos from one aspect in his life that he was totally different and bring him to another point in his life where he's different, and it makes sense. So you bring this character back to relevance, right? So for me, like, that's where the whole package comes in, right? Like they were able to take this whole franchise that was something completely different, and in my opinion, move it forward, make it relevant, and still make it what got to me. He says it's not God of War. Like as you get further in,
not to cut you so, BK Best, I said I need this same kind of energy when Crackdown 3 comes out.
No, why don't you got that same kind of energy? I'm gonna do that same kind of energy a little bit sooner when State of Decay comes out. I want you to have that energy when we got 4 players playing, but you can't get a network going. I want you to have that same kind of energy when we going through the houses and you can't play that. I want you to have that same kind of energy when that game comes out. Because right now your energy is high and you're single player in the corner. Can we play with you? Can I join you? No, I cannot. So when you just bring it down a little bit, bro, bring it down. Because right now you all the way up here in a closet by yourself. I can show you a room that you can play by yourself over there. But when I'm playing with my friends, 4 players, when we getting busy, and you're looking over there with your PlayStation hate, talking about, oh, how's that State of Decay doing? It's doing swell. It's doing swell.
It's doing swell.
Who is this?
Yo, shout out, Reclaim the chat. Yo, chat is lit. Yo, shout out BK for starting a fire right now.
Look, you guys.
I want BK to keep that energy. Yo, BK, keep that energy when you playing alone in the corner. Boy. That's all you can do? Boy. Can I control boy? No.
He need to keep the same energy on the co-op interest. That's what he needs.
Keep that with it. Why there ain't no co-op in it? Why ain't nobody talking about that? Automatically you slash that. You slash your joint down to a 7 off of the fact that you gotta play by yourself. Cut it out. Get out of here. Oh, our graphics is all hype. You hype because you only got 1 input lag. Get out of here.
Done. Little soft, continue. I cut you off. I apologize.
So,
Okay,
I mean,
you derailed me with that funny comment. That was great. Shout out to BK,
nitpicks, man. The negatives for me are nitpicks. As good as the graphics.
It ain't nitpicks. That's a glaring flaw.
Continue, sorry.
Hey, Cognito, you're gonna die. Like
the water doesn't look great, and I don't understand why. Like the water,
because they used all the textures on his back.
They probably did, especially this one thing I mentioned to Cognito, right? The game model, when you go into the menu, the model they use in the menu is more ridiculous than the in-game model.
Yeah, model.
Because there ain't nothing around there. Yo, y'all gotta stop being bamboozled and fooled by these guys. Yo, oh my God, I'm so sick and tired of this bamboozlement with this single player experience. Yo, you know what? Y'all Destiny raid room number 1.
We gotta give it as the great, as far as character model, as far as from a single player.
This is good. This right here, God of War, the closet.
It's the pinnacle of graphics on that. But continue.
Yeah, I mean, to me, look, I said the water thing is weird because it doesn't compare to the rest of the game in terms of looks. I agree with Attic with the trolls because the trolls, I'm gonna be honest, like I cheesed a lot of so far the ones that I faced, I just cheese them with Atreus and axe throws. Like there's no, unlike some other fights where there's
when in doubt, throw the axe.
Yeah, exactly. Chuck the axe. Chuck the axe.
Tell him, Attic. Tell him.
So that
with the Hellblade hate. Continue.
That to me, they could have been. Those fights could have been more in depth because there are other people you fight.
And you know, I will say one thing. There is a time in the game where you go and you think you're about to fight a big dude. You think you're about to do some crazy shit. You get there, it's a troll.
You're not even feeling the fact with the lore wise is saying that's why they're supposed to be there.
I don't care about anything. Like people sitting there, like people on Planet Xbox. Oh, you fought Minotaurs how many times in God of War? That's 15 years ago. Like, can we not evolve? Like they changed everything about God of War, but the amount of shit. Ooh.
The fact that they have the lore around them, the fact that they have the lore around them, and they're each supposed to have like a different type of personality, and the reasons that they're there,
and they don't talk.
Right? They should have been made.
Y'all savage right now. Continue, so.
Hey, Luca, get at me and get them shirts. I want all our female women gamers to get these shirts, man. Come on,
the ladies in the realm must be represented. Absolutely. Shout out
to I got something special for y'all guys.
No doubt. Shout out to Lala. Shout out to Luke in the chat. Much appreciated. Continue, Solve, and then we move it to Attic.
Yeah, so that the combat's fantastic to me, but it takes a while to like when you first turn the game on and you just go into the settings and you look at like the controller layout, you're like, wow, there's not much to this, right?
Yeah.
Like it's not much to it at all. And in the beginning, that's why it can sometimes feel like it's a slog because like it doesn't have much. Now as the game progresses and you open up stuff and they made it into like a mini RPG. Like you have all your stuff has stats, like you know, all your weapons. Your weapons have different, properties. Your armor, all that stuff. It's like a mini RPG. So And that's a little bit convoluted too. I wish they were clearer about how that stuff works, because you just have to sort of figure that out on your own. They're not very clear, like how to slot this stuff, what this means, and stuff like that.
Isn't that like a glaring flaw?
Yo, King, your hate.
It's
No, it's not hate. No. It's the fact that these dudes is giving them the championship ring, and they didn't even get to the finals yet. Cut it out.
They got the championship, and the team they play got disqualified before the game even started.
I know, right? Like, come on, man. You don't have a multiplayer. You buy that for the kid with no friends. That's the game for no friends.
He said it's not hate. He said it's jealousy, King. He said you jealous.
Why am I jealous and I got it? That's stupid. Silly.
Yo,
the statement in itself is ignorant.
Let's get your trolls. I know you don't like the trolls. What are any other little things that kind of annoyed you?
Let me push start. I didn't. It's like I said, I didn't like the mechanics when it come to any kind of puzzle. It was pretty much the exact same puzzle over and over again. I didn't like. Oh man, there's a couple of things I didn't like about the overall story. I can't really go into that.
Lady Delilah said, "Wait, you ain't like when you got the troll number 13?" She's going there.
I mean, it's like I said about the troll. Like someone tell me in the chat, since you are so enlightened about this lore and you've been so raised on this lore, why is there 15 different colored trolls in this game? Why do I go from fighting one and then 20 minutes later fight a green one? Like, I don't get it. And the people are like, it's not the same troll addict. They have different abilities.
Yo, you know why? Because they felt that scene was so nice they wanted you to recreate it.
Look, I will say one thing, like, I don't think this is a spoil, but I don't understand, like, they don't really go into between the third and this one, like, ever, like, at all. Like, I want to know how Kratos lived from that big blade being shoved through his stomach.
He's a god. He is a god. He's a demigod, but he's gonna live forever. That's another thing that's like, again, that's why it makes it. He's
gonna live forever unless there's a game over screen. Gotcha.
But this is the thing, like with Kratos, he has to all that stuff that he's done. He can never escape that. In the old games, right? In the beginning, like he did what he did, and then he had nightmares about it all the time, right? So his goal was to kill the god.
Movies play on time.
Yeah, he's a fool. I love the fighters. He go there. Continue.
So all of that, like he had nightmares that he couldn't get rid of, right? So that was like his first impetus to kill gods, right? When he got rid of the nightmares, the fact of the matter is that he still had the memories, like he still knows what he did. So that fueled his rage to kill everybody, including his dad. So all of that, he is at the end of God of War 3, he had like a little bit of a moment where he realized, no, I can't let this happen because I've caused this chaos. I have to try to find a way to fix it.
It was when Poseidon was about to kill herself at the end of 3. Yeah, and he was pretty much like, anyone that says spoiler in the comment section, go do something. Don't watch this anymore.
If I can't spoil, love you right now.
A 15-year-old game,
he said different colored enemies is pretty basic. No, you didn't say Sea of Thieves doesn't. All right, I got to disqualify you.
It's like I said. Like I understand people are like, how are you going to compare mini bosses to main bosses? What? Like it'd be different if they're like, don't get this fooled. You know that epic fight that you have in The Stranger? That's not all the time, okay? Like, if you're not fighting an epic fight, which there's only like maybe 5 of them, you're fighting a damn troll with a damn slab on his hand that will hit you. Some teleport, some don't. That's literally the whole game.
Look,
it doesn't take away from the fact how epic this is.
I feel where y'all going. But all I'm going to say is that we got to compare it to other games in its own class, right? In its own merit.
You know what? Like Zero Horizon doing. Lord Cognito, have you played that game?
I have not. I've still not. I've only started it.
Play that game, and you're gonna hire that game. You're gonna put it higher than that game.
Well, that's what Lord Stinger. Lord Stinger just said that he's still 3 hours in, and he said it hasn't captured him the way.
It's very slow. The game is very slow going. Like,
right. So for my thing, and again, shout out to Lady Delilah. She's killing the chat. That's my feeling is the way she feels is that I still feel The Stranger set the tone though.
It did, but I felt like it was kind of a false. tone.
But see, this is where I'm getting mad with y'all because, like, at the end of the day, it's like, what other games doing that?
No one's. I didn't say that. Like, I just gave. I literally
said something the most amazing.
You know what? I'm not gonna front.
Seen.
They're the king of the one-player games. They're the king of the one-player games. Let's give us a hand.
That's
the
all
one-player game. You know what?
You
turn off their internet now. Turn it off. Shut off the internet. The game comes packaged with a non-internet cable. Let's just eliminate, because a lot of times.
All I'm saying is this: what Lord King is saying. If we're gonna compare it, let's go apples to apples. Right?
Didn't they say the one-player game is dead? Somebody said that, right?
Yeah, I think
wasn't. Didn't they go in on Phil with that? Like, because Phil was like,
because he was saying, as far as he didn't say one play game was dead, but
no, he did. He didn't say none of that.
It's not as relevant as it was 10 years ago.
It's not. You know why? And it's true. And let's keep that same energy. Remember, somebody used that same energy. Let's keep that same energy for this game that is a single player experience. It's a solo gamer.
Trigger Man, I beat the game. I'm not 3 hours in.
Yeah, Trigger Man, Attic has beaten the game. He's in full position to comment.
Attic beat the game. All right? Attic done the game.
Look, I'm doing,
and you know what's crazy?
You in the comment section.
I was online. I was online with him, and I saw him on. I saw him because it says he's on, right? Yeah. And I was trying to join his game.
You're a savage. You're a savage. I'm done with you. Let me finish my point. Then we can move on to the next part.
By itself.
So, from a single player standpoint, in my opinion, if like I said, you got to compare apples to apples. It's doing things that I've never seen the single player genre do, and stuff that people have attempted, they've done it better. So that's just where I'm at. As far as the flaws, yes, there are definitely flaws. I see what you guys are talking about as far as some of the enemies and stuff like that, repetitiveness.
At the end of the day, it's I might be nitpicking, but at the end of the day, like, my nitpicking is far outweighed over the pauses of the game.
That's all I'm saying. Now, the last question, this is really can only be answered by Attic, which is, obviously it's 2018, it's early. You know what I'm saying? Attic, you're the only person here that has finished it. From what you've played, is this game of the year status?
My game of the year before this was Monster Hunter. I do think this took Monster Hunter's place.
That's all I wanted. And coming from Attic, that is huge. Now let's get on to the next part of this, which is the media stuff. So obviously there's two parts to this. I'm gonna let Lord King set it off too, which is first, shout out to Lord Jess Gordon. He had put out a tweet. He got kind of set Twitter on fire.
Shout out to Cognito. He's the only reason I played it.
My man, you already know. My man. So
that's a little Cognito's joint. My man.
You gotta be laughing last ILP King with that. So pretty much, Lord Jess Gordon, he set, the internet set on fire. Apparently there was something on the IGN social media page. It was on Instagram and it was on Facebook. And it was the classic, this is how, God of War looks on PlayStation. And this is how God of War looks on Xbox One. It was a complete troll, kind of stuff. And it was surprising, you know what I'm saying? So Lord Jess Gordon, he put the tweet out and just said, I'm very, upset, kind of disappointed with IGN with this. That set Twitter ablaze. Mikey Barra got contacted. It just went on until it finally got to Ryan McCaffrey and Peter Schneider, who jumped in front of it, and they actually made a formal apology to Xbox, the Xbox fans, the Xbox community, and stuff like that. So I want to bring this to the Lords on two fronts. One, we've seen obviously that thing from the media standpoint. We've seen that actually, and the flip side too is Mikey Barra just recently. I guess he did a poll and he was like, okay, because Mike's active in these gaming streets, right? Mike's playing stuff.
He's getting attacked on Twitter.
Right. So he actually had a poll which was kind of like, hey, which game do you want me to stream? And he actually put God of War in the list. And without surprise, God of War won. So when that was the game that he was going to stream, a lot of the Xbox community didn't like that. They were like, what are you doing? This is why we're losing, that kind of a rhetoric. So two-part. One, do we think there's a media bias with this whole situation based on the IGN fiasco? And two, is it okay for a person like Mikey Barra to be playing that? Lord King, I need you up on this.
All right. First of all, let's let's get to the genesis of it. Technically, PlayStation was dead. We was set up to murder them and put them away. And I'm gonna say we because my blood is green. I'm gonna keep it funky with you. Keep it funky with you. Like if I have to trace to go inside the store and buy an Xbox over a PlayStation, best believe every day of the week I'm gonna do that. Right?
That's your preference. Continue.
The Don fumbled the ball. He had to just go over the goal line and just finish you guys off because the bottom line, your guys was in the red. Money wasn't good. Your money looked funny in the light. It looked disgusting.
Lord Z Blacklighter for the $10 donation. Thank you so much, sir. Appreciate it.
Good look, and that's love. And I'm gonna show you exactly why this is what your $10 brought. Let me give it to you. It was over. It was over for the PlayStation's ponies. It was done. It was a wrap. It was over until a TV comment came out and they ran with the rhetoric and they did. And I sat there and watched Rome be burnt down in a day. I sat there and watched an idiot fumble a layup. I saw him Patrick Ewing it. He did me dirty. He did me so dirty. Thank Phil. Phil is here. Did you get that? Thank Phil. Phil is here.
What about the bias, man? What about the whole
Phil, because let me tell you the bias. All those dudes that knew the impending death was coming, think about it this way. If a dude is standing over you with an axe and he slips and he falls and he cuts his own head off, how do you want to stand up and be like, you killed yourself. You killed yourself. And now that dude that was about to die is running. That's the PlayStation. He's running all over the place. Those IPs that you get now would have never came out, would have been over for you. But now you're working. And now you're doing your thing. And shout out to PlayStation for doing its thing. I don't need you. I buy you. I buy you because games are there. I love games. The bias comes from the fact that I was about to die. Now you're rubbing it in our face. We're alive and we're doing better because of your idiocy. Your stupidity has allowed me to spread like a cancer and didn't spread all over the place. You guys are shouting from the tops of the mountain on how inadequate our first party games are. You changed the goal. Every time y'all don't have indies. Oh, we got the indies. Nah, y'all don't have first party. Y'all don't have multiplayer. Y'all don't have exclusive. Y'all change the goal line every time, and every media is going with this crap. They're making sure, and this was the most egregious one when he said, "God of War on PlayStation, God of War on Xbox." It was a black screen. Well, I'm gonna do the same exact thing. I'm gonna put out the same exact tweet, and I'm gonna do it in reverse with State of Decay. State of Decay on Xbox and State of Decay 2 on PlayStation. Because even if it did come out on y'all anyway, y'all can't play with nobody online, so y'all be offline half the time any goddamn way. But let's run that narrative. Let's keep that going. Oh, are you happy when you put your information in? Nobody's talking about the security defects in PlayStation. Nobody's talking about the problems that go on there. But let Microsoft
BK coming for your neck again. BK said that he ain't hear y'all complaining about media bias when everybody love Xbox 360s. Now y'all crying rivers.
No. I'm not complaining. I'm letting you know. Are you safe with your PlayStation PSN information online right now?
It's a public
right now, you worry every time you swipe your credit card that some dude in the Ukraine didn't buy a yacht with your dollars. So let's keep that funky. Keep that same energy right there,
said there's no media bias. He said IGN made light of Titanfall being exclusive and PSN being down. He said there's no media bias.
There's no media bias, Brett. Brett.
Get it.
Me and you understand the truth of the fact of the matter is that Microsoft gets killed 10 times more than anything that happens with PlayStation. That's what media bias is. Media bias is if the person, the same dude, each person does the same thing, one person gets killed for it more than the other person. There's a bias towards that person that didn't get murdered as much as the first person. Xbox cannot get away with half of the stuff PlayStation does. PlayStation gets a pass
I will say
every go.
Look at something as simple as when it comes to being extremely consumer friendly. If Microsoft pulled half the stuff that Sony has, it would still be having articles talked about it.
Now, as far as Mikey Barra playing a PlayStation game, good. He's a gamer. He should not be beholden to just play on the system because he works for the company. On his off time, whatever he does on his off time, he should be able to do happily. He asked the people chose, and he's engaging with his community, his people. Because if Microsoft decides to fire him tomorrow, does he stop being Mikey Barra? Does he stop being the person that you talk to?
Right.
Or are you just talking to him because he works for Microsoft? No, I tweet at him and I talk to him because he's part of the community and he actually really engages. I play Destiny with him. The man is saying that he wants to play God of War. Why are we attacking a gamer? Right. He's a gamer.
But what about the people who say that as a executive from Microsoft, you shouldn't be promoting playing the competition's game and that's stupid business wise?
It's stupid. I'm just going to answer the question and I'm done. It's stupid if it's not in the language of his contract. If in his contract it says you cannot publicly admit to liking the competition, which Phil tells everybody all the time, because Phil is a new thing. Maybe in another past that they wouldn't say that we play that. But in Phil's regime, they're gamers there.
They're gamers there. Now, wait, I want to back you up one thing because Brad made a good point. I don't want to oversight him. He made 2 points. He said Microsoft, this is back to the media bias thing on Microsoft. He said Microsoft is getting killed because their product isn't as good. He said they also media killed Sony for not offering crossplay. Media killed Jim Ryan, Sony anti-consumer. So what he's trying to say is that it's performance. He's trying to say that if Microsoft was performing better, then they wouldn't get killed. Do you agree with this?
Okay, then, and that's also a valid point as well. Do I want them to perform better in certain aspects? Yeah. Would I believe they would get the credit if they did perform better? No, I don't think they would get the credit.
I mean, look at something as simple as IGN. I don't know who here saw it. IGN did they did a list. They did like the top 5 of the most hyped games, and for some reason, maybe this person that made the list was more excited about it, but he put the PC version of State of Decay 2 and not the Xbox version. Like, let's be real here. People that review this game at IGN, do you honestly think they're going to review the Windows 10 version?
No, I would assume.
Because it's not going to be as many clicks. You review that, I guarantee you. Yeah, at the end of the day, they do it out of spite now. They don't do it because of bias. They do it because, let's be real here.
But here's the question, Attic. Do you feel as a whole, IGN as an entire media organization has a bias towards Xbox?
No, I think they have a bias. I think they want to make money and they do whatever is clicks.
So you think this is a clickbait initiated?
Oh, it's always been a clickbait.
Now, do you think this is by everyone at IGN or these media outlets? Or
no,
you think
it's not everyone.
Okay, so you think it's specific people like that have personal biases and stuff like that?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's an like when Brab says there's no media bias, he means as an entity. Like media outlets as entities can't have bias because they're journalists, they're professionals. They're supposed to be neutral. Now, at the same time, that you got to remember, these guys, they're not just journalists anymore, right? Each individual is a person. They're going to have their personal preference, right? And now they're not just writing articles and they're not just writing reviews. Now they're on camera all the time. Now they're personalities, right? These people are not just a blank face that you don't know. Like, you know them. And then they have their own personal, whatever, Twitter accounts or whatever. So now you got to balance your professional life with your private life. It's a very blurry line, right? So I'm sure whoever put up this thing, I'm sure it's a younger person at IGN. Right. It's not an older person.
Right. And let's be clear. This was the social media team, not the editorial team.
It was funny as
hell.
Absolutely. It was hilarious. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Continue, Saul.
But it's just that thing where it's like, you're going to have individuals having their own opinions. That's just the way it is. And a lot of that stuff's going to seep out because the fact of the matter is that they're out in the open.
I want to say something real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
If I remember correctly, didn't Ryan McCaffrey say people at IGN are playing State of Decay on Xbox One X's? Wasn't that his exact word in the very first thing?
No. Actually, that they were doing the PC build during the IGN first. The IGN first, they said we're playing a PC build. I do remember what Lord Tolbert is saying. That part is true. Now, at PAX, we played it on Xbox One X. You know what I'm saying? We seen what's up. But continue, sir.
No, so that's just my feeling on it. Like it's gonna you're gonna see it because all of these people are gonna have their individual opinions and the stuff's gonna seep out. And even in the shows that are associated specifically with their outlets, like you see it. We've talked about how Jason Schreier, like it emanates from him that he's not the biggest fan of what Microsoft is doing.
Right.
I've seen Brian Altano, like he's like he'll play certain stuff on Xbox, but you can tell where his preferences are, and it's fine as long as when you talk about one, you talk about the other, because that as a journalist, that is your job to just give the news, right? And then as a personality, you're going to give your opinions on said news.
Right.
But,
no, I'm with you, Saab. My thinking kind of falls along the lines of yours. I don't feel like there's this grand conspiracy against Xbox. I mean, on that level, but I do feel that, look, we're human beings, right? We all have inherent biases, even myself. Like, we all have it. There's certain things that
technically, if you would get technical, this is an Xbox podcast.
Exactly. Like,
listen, boss moves definitely 100% right. He says these game medias
are trying to compete with YouTube,
and you're right.
He's right. And here's the thing: the YouTube. This is what I see. Like, we can't denounce the fact that Resolution Gate and that kind of stuff drove traffic, right? During the beginning of the generation, when Xbox One X games, or Xbox One games, were not hitting the 1080p mark, and the PlayStations were, right? And they did those side comparisons. I remember those articles, you know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to say that just because they made the article, that means they're biased against Xbox, but we can't also deny the fact that these things generate traffic. These generate interest, right? So now, as we come to this situation now, where it's like, okay, this is, Xbox One God of War, and this is PlayStation's God of War, right? Is it immature? Is it silly? Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? It's retarded. I didn't take it that seriously. I am glad that Jess brought it to light, though, because there's people who work in these organizations and these outlets that are, for the most part, their goal is supposed to be a neutral media outlet, right? Their goal is supposed to tell you this is what the facts are, and then you make an informed decision based on the facts. Not, okay, this is how your game looks on this, and the other game system doesn't have it. Ha ha ha. You know what I'm saying?
He said this bias towards the winner. This is America.
Exactly. That's it, and that's what I have a problem with. You know what I'm saying? So again, do I feel that, oh my God, Microsoft? I do agree with Brap in this sense that, Microsoft put a lot of themselves in this situation, their own selves, because of performance. A lot of it is driven by performance, no doubt. If you're not putting out good product and you're not putting out good services, you are going to get attacked for that. However, when the narrative is continued and driven by clicks, and also you have situations like you had like this, which I've seen before, and other resolution articles, and I remember even a GameSpot article where they were asking at the time, this was actually a very intense article. I actually sent it to Anchorman. I couldn't believe that GameSpot ran this, which was like, the reasons why you should get an Xbox One X. And literally, Xbox One, I keep saying X. And literally, like, none of the panel members on this panel gave any reasons to get an Xbox One. Okay, fine. That's their opinion. Okay, cool. But the one woman who said, yes, I like it, and I like it for this. I like it for the apps. I like it for this. She got attacked, clowned, and ridiculed on the panel. And I'm just like, wow, like, this is just her opinion, and she's giving why. And this is an influencer. This is kind of like a, you know what I'm saying?
It's a mob mentality.
Right. So that's the only thing. Again, I just feel that there's certain specific, Psycho Gamer knows what I'm talking about. Shout out to Psycho. Yeah, she got laughed where she works. She got clowned. Like, literally, the GameSpot entire team destroyed her on this panel. I was completely shocked by that. And I was like, wow, they're putting this out, in the media. Like, this was surprising to me. So that's pretty much what I got on it.
And that's the thing, because you still, if you're going to be commenting like that, then you know what, leave, get your own YouTube channel and talk about whatever you want.
Exactly.
When you're
on a neutral outlet,
you can't do it.
When I have a problem,
because then at that point also you're still benefiting from the benefits of being a journalist and getting your hands on the stuff early and stuff like that. So you're eating off of that. And then you're eating off of that.
Delilah said she's getting attacked right now.
I'd have got attacked too. I mean, look at weekly. Yeah, listen, YouTube,
I love trolls.
Personal Twitter, all that
please.
Is fair game. It is what it is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Psycho, I'm so glad Psycho's in the chat. Shout out to Lord Psycho, because I thought I remember that article, and he knows what I'm talking about. I thought it was a joke. I thought it was going to say, I got you at the end, and they were dead serious, and they ran this, and I was just like, wow, that's completely unprofessional. But that's what I got on it. Any of the Lords want to chime before we move this thing on?
No.
All right. Y'all, let's just put it this way. Y'all going to like the poll.
Dirty little horse.
Y'all going to like the poll question. I'm very curious to see how the realm answers. All right. So we're going to move on. And obviously, there's been some shaking and baking as a result. Well, not as a result of the God of War stuff, but Microsoft in the news. You know what I'm saying? So apparently, looks like video games industry Daryl Gallagher, veteran, has joined the Microsoft Studios executive leadership team. He's now the head of Microsoft Studios, head of Microsoft Studios. Mike Booty announced it on Twitter. This guy has a long career. He's been at Square.
I can't get over that name.
I know.
I swear, every time you say that, I'm just like, doesn't he have another name?
You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the Reign of Booty.
What do your friends call you, Mike?
The age of booty.
The age of booty. So yeah, pretty much Gallagher, man, this guy has a long career. He's a veteran in the game. He was a former head of Crystal Dynamics. He worked on the Tomb Raider reboot, Rise of the sequel, the Rise of the Tomb Raider sequel. I want to shout out Lord Rand. Shout out Lord Randall Thor. He's got a great video on this, and his opinion is to see, he thinks Daryl might be the one in charge of running his own studio at Xbox. So I want to bring this to the Lords. Obviously we know that the Microsoft first party situation is, what it is, and they need to improve. So, is that
boy?
Boy.
The boy. So before we even jump
the man that let his son go to school dressed as Kratos on 20 days.
Get it? We got Kratos himself in the building. Lord Kratos, we just finished the God of War time, but I wanted you to recap.
Sorry, you're late.
No problem. No problem.
It's okay. I just want to get
It's over.
3-part question. One, your impression. First, how far are you in the game? So let's get that out.
Well, this is my second run through of the game.
Woo!
Yeah. So I've had it a review copy for about a week and a half. So I've already went through the game. That's why I was fairly confident, as you guys know on Twitter, running up until launch of the game. And so, it speaks for itself. I think from the moment you pop that disc in and you see that main menu, you look at, you see Kratos.
That tree.
That's it.
I almost made that main menu.
What about the stranger?
Woo! Oh man!
That set the tone. Did it set the tone?
Don't give any spoilers away.
A lot of people haven't done it yet.
No spoilers. But once you reach this one boss, or we'll just call him a stranger, that is something out of. It reminds me if you guys ever seen Justice League. Do you guys remember when Superman, when all the characters were trying to hold back Superman?
Yes.
And then the Flash, it was that cinematic experience that made you say, "Oh shit, it's about to go down." Why did you use
Justice League though? That movie was garbage.
Well, listen. I know the movie was garbage.
Let's find something that correlations to good things. Because hey, Kratos, you know what I wanted to do? I wanted to play you and playing it. Do I have it?
Oh my god.
I do.
Oh, okay. So later on after that we can play together.
No, that's a bet. Definitely.
Okay, cool.
Continue, Kratos.
All right, I didn't have multiplayer on my disc. You must got it in the review copy.
Hey,
he's a savage.
It's all good. It's all good.
No, he listen.
Okay, so
listen. We talk mess. So we going at each other right now.
Of course.
Let's go.
Of course.
Go for it.
Okay, fine. You have maybe I used the wrong movie, but that's what did it for me. Yeah. Yes, Justice League was a bad movie, but there are certain scenes in Justice League that kind of it brings something up out of you. Where you're like, oh man, it's epic. Yeah. But that fight scene was something that I don't know if you guys would agree, but Sony, as being a movie studio, they have the options to. They're just so talented in putting a film type quality scene in the game. Yes. And I've never seen that done before to this scale.
Talk about
Don't say it, man. I've said that in the past. that's one of the reasons that they do so well, and I've gotten attacked. It's not the reason. Sony doesn't need the movie industry to make good
It
games.
helps. It helps, right? It helps. Even securing Spider-Man, the character
Until
itself.
Dawn was legitly
yes.
I
agree.
A movie.
I agree. It
in
was
everything they do, like
intended to be.
down to their press conferences, like you can tell that they have an understanding of how to present something. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know if I don't know if
Mhm.
I told you guys how I became Kratos. But
Talk
at
about it.
that,
Let's
I
go.
You
believe
change
it's
your name and change your profile pic.
Yeah, 20.
Yeah.
Listen, when I first came on Twitter, right,
Mhm.
I wasn't even on Twitter,
Mm.
and that E3 came, and they were playing that orchestra music that
Yes, yes.
that
Yeah, you
made my
told me.
skin crawl a little bit.
Was
but
that one of
I
the
still
years
didn't
we
know what
went
it
to
was.
E3? I think that was the year
Yes.
before last.
Yeah, that was like 3 years ago. It was 2016. So
Yeah.
anyway, once Kratos came out the shadows, that was it. I was done. That just the look of Kratos and how they
Yes.
changed it. That whole epic
So who
movie.
was you
Yes.
before then? You was Master Chief?
Nah, bro. Hey, hey, look. I haven't been Master Chief since college. That's how old Halo is. So, yeah. No, but after that, man, I embraced the persona of Kratos, and I've been supporting it ever since. And it just, I mean, I'm glad
Wait,
that this
so
game...
you mean to tell me, see, because
Mhm.
I have to get at your Kratos-ness.
Oh,
all
yeah,
right?
you do. Yeah, you do.
I do, because you played all the other ones, right?
Yes.
So you didn't decide that they were worthy of that name until this one?
Well, yes, because you got to look at it this way.
I don't even think this game is worthy of the God of War name.
Wow.
Because
Talking crazy.
and I want and Kratos, and I want you to be honest, and I want you to straight up be honest.
420? Is this still 420 today?
No. Well, and listen,
He ain't got his mind right, Kratos. He ain't got his mind right?
you know what? They released it perfectly on 420 for a reason, because they wanted all their people that purchased the game to be high, so they could tweet it out, and you can get the higher expectations of the game. You got it. So I want Kratos. Then I want you to be honest. I want you to be honest. Strip away the God of War from the game.
Yes.
And Sony puts that game out. Let's say the story of young Thor, Redbeard. Let's say the story of Redbeard, right? Because there's a legend of Thor, all right. And he has Jumba Younger. He has that sword. I mean that hammer. I mean that right?
Yes.
They put that game out. Does that game rate? And it's the same exact game.
It does.
Does it rate as high without the God of War attached to it?
It does, and I'm going to tell you why. Right?
It does.
I'm going to tell you why. Strip away the first 3, 4, 5 games, right? If you want to count Ascension and all that stuff, strip away that.
Right.
From the menu screen, and now we're just talking about a game. We're not talking about the story or anything like that. Just from the graphics and the gameplay standpoint, the first thing when I came on this podcast today, the first thing that we talked about was The Stranger, that epic scene. Woo! We didn't even talk about the gameplay. We just talked about the scene being set up. You cannot tell me, even if this game was Gears and that scene would have popped up, this would have been a solid 10 game. You can't tell me that.
Okay.
And that's one fight. That's just one fight. And that's like the smallest fight in the scene.
I just feel this, Kratos. I feel this, that when they attach God of War name to the game, and the game essentially became God of War, whatever the concept was, and they decided to go with this, they knew from a cachet point, because up until that point, God of War is probably synonymous with excellence on the PlayStation. I can't really say that I've played a God of War game on the PlayStation and it was mediocre to me. I thought all the God of War games were up there in the 9s and 10 type of level. You understand?
And if you look at their ratings, they have always went 94, 93, and 92.
Right. Exactly. This is what I'm saying. Right. And I feel by them attaching this name to the game that I, at this point, don't feel like this is God of War yet. It didn't turn to God of War to me yet.
And I know you're going with that. And Lord Attic made a good point because he actually agreed with you, Lord King. Like he felt from the beginning stages, he was like, "Look, it's great, but this is not God of War." And
Yeah,
Lord
I'm waiting
Attic,
for it to turn into God of
Lord
War.
Attic, correct me if I'm wrong. Because you finished it, you said you're going to get to a point where it's God of War. Is that true, Lord Attic?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And listen,
All right.
no spoilers, right?
That's what I want.
No spoilers. We keep it spoiler free.
But we all know this game has RPG elements in it, right?
Yes.
You have to do certain things. You have to build up your character, right? This game is progression. So you start off just trying to get the feel of the games and then learn a few combos, and then before you know it, towards the middle to the end of the game, you're spot on. You're like, shit, this is God of War 4. This is what we were looking for. It's just a different version because this is for one, the next generation, and
new time.
And it's a reboot. This is a reboot. This is going to be a trilogy. So you got to realize they're setting up that story. And then after this trilogy is over, Corey Balrog, he talked about them doing the Egyptian mythology. So
serious?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
I heard that.
Now.
Yeah.
Now
I heard that when they get to Anubis and get to Ra and the true gods, when they get to the true gods, then listen. I don't want everybody to think King is a terrorist when it comes to this game. I'm not a terrorist when it comes to this game. I just want you to understand that y'all guys voted on that poll that we should ask for better and we should ask for more from our companies, right? So automatically,
you go to ILP poll now.
Yes. Yeah, I'm going to the poll because y'all guys voted. And I want y'all to keep that energy, right, Brooklyn? Keep that same energy, Brooklyn. Keep that energy and knock down those 2 points off that score because it doesn't have any multiplayer. Keep that energy on that. All right. Now, as far as the single player experience,
ever had it? Has God of War ever had
no,
multiplayer?
but this is 2018, and I expect more from my companies.
Listen, this is what Sony said, right? They said what we do best is single player story driven games. This is why
eliminate the pay in for multiplayer online. Eliminate that because you're not utilizing it. And why am I paying $60 a year to play multiplayer online and all the exclusives are single player?
Okay, listen. Okay, we'll tell you what. Rise, Son of Rome has multiplayer. When the last time you played multiplayer? How did that work for that game?
You know what? You know what? I can. You can say this, right?
Driven game as well.
Right. You can say this, and I'm gonna give you this. Rise, Son of Rome, and I'm glad you went to our first release game. I'm glad you took it back all the way over there because I want you to understand one thing. That game released with something that this game in this year did not release with: multiplayer. So
okay. So
I want you if that game came before, and they had multiplayer in the arena, and I was able to join with my friends and decapitate and have fun. Because there's no decapitations in here. Your people just disappear in a puff of smoke. Where that's at. But let's keep that together.
Look,
this is 2018. How come this game doesn't have multiplayer? And I demand more from this company.
Oh my God! You demand more.
Listen. Okay, I'll give you that. You demand more from Sony and from the game. I will give you that. How about this? Right? You got the world's most powerful console.
You have all
with the
Pro.
You have
the Pro.
Oh, he going for the juggler.
I'm
listening to the Pro.
All these. You have people talking about over 400 games on my Xbox One X. All of these Xbox 360 games that they redoubling up on you. They getting twice the amount of money. They got that money from you last year, and they getting the same amount of money from you this year for the same game. I have high expectations for Microsoft and Xbox. Why can't they give me a decent rated game that would give me the same experience? God of War dropped, the internet blew up. Xbox guys mad. It's a civil war.
No, they're not mad.
Spider-Man, wait, let me finish. Spider-Man was dropped. They showed you information about that. It's a civil war. The whole Xbox community in the chaos. And guess what? Right next month, in a couple more weeks, Detroit becomes human problem. Guess what? It's gonna
have the same problem. Kratos. You're saying the same thing. I'm saying why have internet on that system if you don't have games to utilize it. You have a PlayStation and you're paying for internet to play multiplayer, right? They told you this time now that they told you, yo, ante up now. Remember, it was free. It's cool when it's free. Now it's ante up time. Ante up time. Yeah. And if you want to play any old stuff, we got PlayStation now. Tune in, pay that same money that you keep that same energy. Pay that same money for the old game that Microsoft give you for free. See, Microsoft ain't telling you that you got to pay for the old stuff. Like you brought up the old stuff, right?
Yeah.
So the old stuff is free, but we made it look better because that's what the power of the X do. But the power of the PlayStation Pro don't make none of the old games look good. Why?
Are you sure about that?
Yeah. Give me a game.
Wait. Okay. The last time I checked, we got Shadow of the Colossus. The last time I checked,
no.
The last
Go for that. Oh, you know you setting yourself up, right?
Come on now.
You know you setting yourself up, right? I'm gonna let you know.
This is what I'm saying.
Listen, I just want him to save himself now.
The world's most powerful console
right now. Go for it.
Listen, the world's most powerful console. Take your Xbox 360 games, make it look better. You know, I'll give you that. It makes it look better. But guess what? At the end of the day, it's still an Xbox 360 game. It doesn't turn Halo 3 into Halo 6, and that's part of the problem. I'll give you this.
Did Shadow Colossus turn into Shadow Colossus 5?
You know what? It's probably damn near compared to the original.
And you know what you did? You paid
that's what remasters are, right? They pick and choose the best games that the people are asking for. They remaster them. They don't just, hey, you guys go to GameStop and buy your old disc again, or we'll sell them to you on the store.
Oh, yeah. You know what, Kratos?
Yes.
Let me ask you a question. Kratos.
Go ahead.
Kratos. Let me ask you a question because this is getting tasty. Because you know what you're doing? You're making my point for me. You're making my point for me. Why every console I gotta buy the same game over and you put extra hair on the back of the donkey?
You know why?
Why do I gotta do this? Why do I gotta give them another $60? Microsoft said, yo, if you happen to have this game that you love so much, it's for free over there.
Who happens to have all of those games? These dudes talking about
I'm not gonna go there. There is a lot of people.
These guys talking about I got 400 games on my Xbox One X. And I'm like this.
Why? Kratos, why can't you give us credit?
You don't have any.
But Kratos, you gotta admit, it's a good feature to have.
Kratos.
It is.
It's free.
Let me give you this.
It's free, Kratos. It's free.
No. The option to play them are free. The games are not free. Because I'm gonna tell you this again. If I turn on my Xbox One X now and I look down that list and all of those games are free to me, I download them. But when I look, I see price tags next to it. So you're gonna have to explain that to me, brother.
Kratos. Right now, you're taking the goalpost and you're throwing that goalpost down the block. Like every time I come and I score a touchdown, you keep telling me it's not a touchdown. You keep telling me that your multiplayer experience is warranted. I don't see where if all your games are one-player, single-player closet experiences. Right? All of them. Now, one of them launched with a multiplayer component in it, except for Uncharted. And that is piss poor when it comes to multiplayer.
Uncharted,
but I'm going to give you, listen, I'm going to give you that multiplayer. I'm going to give you that.
Okay.
When's the last time you played it?
Listen, again, at the end of the day, I got new games, right? When you getting a buffet of new games and new experiences, you don't have a reason to look backwards. We move forward. This is why the industry, Sony at the helm. You see what I'm saying? Now, here's the thing. Now, I agree with you. I love backwards compatibility for people who enjoy that. That is a great asset. I think that's a huge Microsoft Xbox asset. But here's the problem, right? I wouldn't mind it so much if there was new games consistently going also with the option. I feel like it's a pacifier to pacify people until those games get ready. And see, that's part of the problem. Don't pacify, don't tease me with something else because you're lacking in another area. Like I want it all.
So you think it's smoking?
You want it all, but you're not getting that multiplayer, so that's not all for you.
No. Listen, I'm getting the multiplayer.
Let's stop using that word all when you getting it split down the middle.
Okay.
They have said, listen, we got multiplayer over here.
Story-driven games on Xbox.
We We got multiplayer over here. You got single player over there.
Okay.
It is divisive, right?
Okay.
Let's say that. Listen. 100%. I love you, right?
Yeah,
so
definitely.
I don't want anybody to think that I'm going at him. I really don't want y'all to think that. We tweet each other. We support each other.
Definitely.
This is real. Okay, let's keep it. Spider-Man is coming up next.
Yes.
Right? I would love to play a multiplayer Spider-Man game with Venom in it. It's not going to happen, but if it came out for Microsoft, it would. But it's not. It's coming out for Sony. It's a single player experience.
And listen,
I'll tell you
why. And this is where I think Sony's fan base and Xbox fan base are two totally different people, right? And I think it's because the companies have shaped them to be that way. Like the Xbox is known for being the shooter box and the racer box. I mean, can we all agree with that? Sony is known for being the single player story-driven game box. That's just kind of what it is.
Right.
So therefore, if you have both,
shouldn't your multiplayer be for free?
Huh?
Shouldn't your online multiplayer be for free?
I don't think so, because there's a lot that comes with the freeness. You see what I'm saying? There's a lot. As a matter of fact,
the freeness.
The freeness. I like that word.
No, well, yeah. When I'm talking to my brother, I make up.
You already know.
We understand.
You're the realm of the Lord.
He done kinging you right now.
Exactly.
He's done kinging you. Keep watching him. Watch his hands. Watch his hands.
Keep in mind, guys. Okay, as far as how good the Xbox Live is, reports came out like at the end of the year showing that PSN was the king of online. That's just what it was. That's the report.
With what games, though?
No, listen.
Kratos, stop now.
Okay,
stop it now, Kratos.
Let me tell you. Let me tell you. I don't want you to set yourself up now. Okay.
Listen. I want you to do this, right? I want you to do this.
The Xbox right now is touting itself for having the best multiplex. Well, guess what? Guess where Sony's multiplayer is at? The multiplex. So don't knock Sony for that when your whole console is based on multiplex.
It is. I want you to get this part right here. And if we only played our exclusive games on our systems, right?
Yes.
Let's just say we only played the exclusive games for the system.
Yes.
Would it be necessary for you to have that internet connection that you pay for PlayStation if you only played your exclusive games that came out this year?
Probably not, because Sony stuff is down behind.
No, it's a no. It's a no.
Yeah.
It's a no.
Okay,
it's
I'll
a
give you
no. That's a no for you. Now, for me,
that's fine.
It's necessary for me.
You're right.
It's necessary because that PUBG love.
That Sea of Thieves cannot be played.
Yeah, but you don't got it though. You don't got that Sea of Thieves though. You don't got it.
I do. I got
it. No, I'm talking about you got it because you got an Xbox. But I'm talking about your PlayStation side. Your PlayStation side don't got that.
You're right. And guess what?
We don't got God of War. We don't got God of War.
Now let me ask you this: which one would you rather have? Sea of Thieves or God of War?
Don't ask me that question, Kratos.
Don't not ask him that question.
I put more time in Sea of Thieves, and I didn't fall asleep when I was playing it.
Listen,
I
got myself, and I don't want to lie. I think I have maybe around 20 to 30 hours in Sea of Thieves, and a lot of it is streamed. I got a bunch of people that I'm on Twitter with, and we join all the time. So I have tried to give this game time. I think it had the potential to be a good game. I'm looking forward to State of Decay. I think that's going to be the next big franchise.
The DLC, right? The DLC, because is there any DLC coming with God of War that brings the multiplayer?
No. That is a single player story driven game. That's what Sony says. This is what we do.
So for the rest of the life of the game, you that's it.
Besides DLC,
any DLC
you gotta realize.
Any DLC comes.
DLC comes, right? Then you got to wait to the next game in the trilogy. There's going to be. That's one thing that Sony will give you. They will give you a sequel.
But
in the sequel, I'm going to be able to play as Boy, and my friend can play as Kratos.
Hey, I don't want to spoil it, but you never know.
At the end of the day, I'm going to jump in real quick. At the end of the day, and I want to shout out my man D-Troop 49. At the end of the day, this is just preference, right? Because at the end of the day, You know what I'm saying?
True.
If you want that driven, story-driven, cinematic experience,
that on Xbox.
exact Sony's where it's at. You know what I'm saying? But I gotta agree with
greatness.
King too.
Yeah.
He said the greatest. But I gotta agree with King. Like,
It is.
if
It
you
is.
want to
That's a lot.
socialize with your friends, you want to have the best
You're right.
ecosystem and have some of the best multiplayer games. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Then
Can I-
Xbox is for you.
And
And then as
Xbox
a
and
gamer,
PC, Xbox and PC is where it's at.
you
Can I say something?
as a gamer, you know what I'm saying? I love Cradle.
Can I say
As a
something?
gamer, though,
Good
if
thing
you got
you
both,
purchased an exclusive
you got
game
everything
on the.
conquered.
Listen, good thing
These
when
two,
you
yeah,
purchase an
rap, them
exclusive
two need
game
a
on
podcast.
Microsoft on the PC, you can play it on the Xbox as well. Good thing they do that.
Can I say something?
No, you're right.
Go
You're
ahead.
right. But I'll tell you this. Let me ask you this. Once you play it on the PC, what incentive do you have to go back to an inferior version? I just want to know that.
Well, I just
have
go
both.
upstairs and I like to play in the comfort of the couch and stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
I like the versatility Microsoft gives you when it comes to playing games.
Yeah,
No,
and
you're
for
right,
me,
you're right.
honestly, J-Dub, it's just like from the PC. I don't want to disrespect on none of my PC games because you're right. PC is the best place to play if you're looking for the best performance. But as far as me, I'm a console gamer. I
Me
like
too,
the
me too.
ease of just
Listen.
putting the box, plugging it in, throwing my controller in. The ecosystem is already there. You know
I
what I'm
agree.
saying?
As
That's
powerful
just
as
where it
my-
comes down
as
to me.
powerful as my PC is,
Yeah.
I will always be a console guy,
Mhm.
and that's just I'm an old school gamer.
Same
You
here.
know, playing on
Yep.
Sega Genesis and stuff. That's just the way. This is why, guys. This is why I am against going all digital and streaming and stuff like that. I want to be able to stand outside in a line, you know, with different people waiting for a
Facts.
console launch. That's that old school
That's
nature.
all you.
Yeah.
Mhm. No, I feel you. Got Attic. You want to jump in?
Look, at the end of the day, you know what you guys are talking about. I completely agree, and I feel like that's one of the key reasons Microsoft's where they are right now is because they abandoned that.
Yeah.
Look at the beginning of this generation. How many of those are single player games?
Right, and which now leads into the next topic.
Look at. Hold on. Give me a couple minutes.
Yeah, I'll let you
Look
rock
at
that.
games
Rock.
that you look at games like what do you besides PUBG? What is the last console seller you would consider that's been on the Microsoft platform?
There you go. There you go. When's the last time you had a game of
God
of War's caliber come
No,
out?
it's not even talking about God of War caliber or anything. Just a console seller in general.
Well,
we have to go back.
PUBG, we can say PUBG though. PUBG hit.
That's what I said. Besides PUBG.
Oh, you said beside.
You go back. Then we'll go back to maybe Gears. I mean, that's debatable because
I don't
there's
think
a lot
I
of
don't
mixed
think
feelings
that
of
was
Gears.
a system seller. I think
But I
Forza
think
would sell systems.
No, it's like
before
I'm not like
Gears.
okay.
Yeah.
Forza is a system seller, but
Halo.
that genre. I think the last key one they had was Titanfall.
Yeah,
And the last one they had before after that was Halo 5. What are all these games have in common?
Multiplayer.
Right. Well, let's spill in. Let's spill into this topic, which was perfect time actually with the Daryl Gallagher joint. Obviously, just announced Kratos. Obviously, that he's going to join the Microsoft Studios executive leadership team. He had the tremendous experience from Square Enix, Activision, THQ. He was head of the Tomb Raider reboot. So according to shout out to my man Lord Rand, got a great video out. Please check it out. According to Lord Rand, and a lot of us, we think that this guy is going to be responsible for heading a Microsoft studio. And actually, Matt Booty
qualifications for it. That's
right. So, and his resume is tremendous. This guy's a veteran. So, what do the Lords think? And I'm actually starting Chris. He's in here as far as like this recommitment by Microsoft to trying to add these pieces. And we know this thing kind of takes time, right? We know that we don't expect this guy to announce this necessarily. I'll be shocked. They said they want to talk to us about E3. But what do you think about Microsoft at least trying to make that move to get better in the home, Microsoft first party state? What do you feel about stuff like this?
Look, I think it's great. We all know that they're in a rebuilding process, right? This generation is to Xbox has kind of been like the Wii U. Whether you disagree with me or not, kind of hear me out real quick. It has been like the Wii U, as what Wii U was to Nintendo, right? It didn't do what they thought it was going to do.
Right.
So they had to go back. A lot of stuff happened. We don't have to rehash it. We know what happened from 2013 all the way to now. So they got to get some fresh blood in there. They got to get some things moving. Some people who know what the fans want, and they need us. And so right now they're working on the future. They're working on next generation. This generation, they're just going to kind of limp along with. That's why they're offering you the services and Game Pass and stuff to kind of help ease you into next generation.
Stop doing those words. Stop using those words. Stop using those words. Stop using those words like limp along. and we the Wii U. Stop using those words. Stop using those words.
Hey,
I'm not gonna let you run with that. Now I told listen. I tolerate certain things. I'm not gonna tolerate you talking about people limping along with 40, 50 million sold. We ain't limping no place. We walking down the block. Now y'all happen to be jogging. I give you that. You jogging. You doing your thing. You doing your Barry Bonds sprint. I'm gonna give you that. That limping. You gonna stop that limping right there. Cut that out. Now, listen, we didn't decapitate you guys like we were supposed to because we slipped on our sword and killed ourselves. Let me tell you something. I'm gonna explain something to you right now. You're no longer the most powerful system. That's a wrap. That's done. Okay. All right? So that's out the window. The internet ain't as robust as ours. That's out the window.
Okay.
We're coming for you. Well, listen here. Keep looking over your shoulder. Keep being afraid because y'all pigeonholed yourself in that corner with that one-player experience crap, and I'm seeing it happening. And remember, I want you to remember what number ILP this is when I'm coming for you again, because I'm gonna come for you again. And when I come for you again, it's gonna be hell to pay. Let me tell you something, because little by little, we are snatching your exclusive. That Hellblade. Give me that. That's mine. All right, and it look better over here. They like it on this side of the street. This side of the street is good. We eat over here. Let me tell you something. We coming for your single player experiences, and when we get a hold of them, we make them look better.
King, what do you think about the Gallagher thing?
Oh, I like. Okay. I think it's great anytime we get anybody that's going to change the philosophy on how things go. And if he has a background in video games to bring us up as a studios, we need that because we can't try to shoehorn multiplayer and everything. That's what happened to Scalebound, right? They was trying to pigeonhole multiplayer into Scalebound, but Scalebound would have probably been that great single player experience. But they kept trying to shoehorn putting friends together. Yeah. Sometimes it don't work.
So multiplayer again is great, right? I agree. Multiplayer is great, but at the same time, if you're not gonna do it right, don't do it at all.
Don't show
this is why I do believe I will admit, right? Because even Sony said this at PSX. They do what they do best, and that's single story narrative-driven games.
The best thing they can do is make some, and it don't even have to be multiplayer. Like it could be co-op stuff like State of Decay. They need a single out, and obviously studio their single player games because Sony does single player games fantastic, but they still have multiplayer games. And focus on that. Get your games like Titanfall, unique experiences that you can only experience on that platform of that console choice. I feel like there is a couple games that have potential. They need to do whatever they can. They need to get that Rise IP.
Shout out to Mike Ibarra for hinting. Did you saw that cryptic tweet when he was in the studios and they had the statue of Rise of Mario?
I've said from the start, I've said that I wouldn't be surprised if Microsoft bought that IP in secret and they haven't told anyone because let's be real, the engine was sold. What happened to the IP? You mean to tell me, broke Cryotech kept the IP for no reason?
Well, they have it, but it will be interesting to see if a deal was reached, or something like that.
And Unreal Engine.
Crytek. That's Crytek, actually.
Listen, Sunset Overdrive.
Facts.
Sunset Overdrive 2 is ready to be made. The developer is saying, hey, look, we just need a publisher. And Microsoft is not jumping on that. And that's kind of part of the problem. It's like, look, people are screaming for sequels to these games. But see, even though Rise didn't set the world on fire, it had a great base to build upon.
Yes. Amen.
This is why
I don't feel
Microsoft... This is how they ended up in the position they in. They canceled the games without having anything to replace them with, and that's how they got some good IPs that I think that they can work with. People are asking for Rise 2, Sunset Overdrive 2, and a couple of others. They just got to pull it together.
To be honest with you, I played Sunset Overdrive from beginning to end. It was a cool game. But
it's not for you though. It is a beloved game by the Xbox
let's be real.
community.
It's not for a lot of people. It didn't even sell that well at all.
I hear what you're saying, but do you think they should abandon it completely and not make a sequel? Not build it?
I'm never against not making a sequel.
Uncharted 1.
I'm never
Uncharted 1 didn't do
a
well.
sequel.
Yeah, Uncharted
at the
1
end of the
set
day,
the world on fire, but part 2 killed it.
Exactly.
At the end of the day,
I agree with Kratos like that.
I feel like they had more to work with than Sunset Overdrive when it comes to Uncharted.
But what was so wrong with Sunset Overdrive?
I think
was
it's
so
the
bad?
premise. The premise isn't for everybody. Like you have that over the top sort of comedic thing. Like the premise is not for. It was a cool game, and I'm sure they used a lot of what they learned on Sunset Overdrive to make Spider-Man. But it's just not something that It's not
something that's going to grab a lot of people.
It's not an event game, and like and it goes back to
how funny it is that. The creator of Sunset Overdrive ended up doing Spider-Man.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean,
it's literally the same game.
Ratchet and Clank or anything like that, but I mean that doesn't surprise me. You'd be acting like they ain't made games for Sony before.
Listen, all I'm saying is, at the end of the day, it's not for me. I'm not even a Sunset Overdrive fan like that, but I do understand the diversity of the portfolio and getting those unique type of titles on it. And there's people that love that game.
I agree that I agree that there's a lot of. I agree that every game deserves a sequel at least, but that is one particular game, and Quantum Break, because Quantum Break was trash. That is one particular game that I can understand, because let's be real here. Like, not only, there might be a lot of people that hype that game, but let's be honest here. Like,
well, the numbers agree with you, right? The numbers based on the sales.
Well, it's not even that. Like, besides the couple people, like, Xbox ain't listening to 40 people on Twitter. Let's be real here. Overdrive does not appeal to the mass. It doesn't at all.
I don't think it was marketed
Rise, I can get down. I think Rise could do it.
Here's the difference, though. You're right.
Rise could do it. Absolutely, Rise could do it.
All I'm saying is Kratos makes a good point. Look at Uncharted 1. That did not set the world on fire. You know what I'm saying? But they stuck with it. There's got to be a time where at some point, whether it be a record, maybe it's not Sunset Overdrive, right?
Like
maybe it's like a record. One of their franchises that they had under their roof, they need to revisit. It's not a good look that these franchises are sitting there dormant, and the devs, you got Insomniac, like Kratos was saying, say, hey, we would love to make a sequel for Sunset Overdrive if Microsoft said so. Like, that's a bad look.
And after that, like, unless the way that they worded that cryptic tweet, I'm really starting to think they might own that IP, but Microsoft owns that IP.
Because, right.
Because it is ironic that they say, well, when Microsoft's good, we good for Sunset Overdrive too. It's like, then why don't you go to someone else? It's like, it's like only go to Microsoft.
Studio. It's a movie studio. You have to allot your blockbusters per year on how they're gonna come out. You can't jumble them all up together. There's a reason why there's a certain amount of Marvel movies that come out a year and they give you a 4-year plan. We have no roadmap when it comes to Microsoft.
And that is a huge problem. That is a huge problem.
That's a big problem, and it seems like they're a boat with no rudder.
It seems like they have nothing. We know they have stuff, but it seems like they have nothing. And the perspective never changes.
Like we said before, this is the year they have to do it. They have to give you something of a roadmap. They have to give you some breadcrumbs to say, this is what we're working towards. They can't. Right. We can't come out of E3 having no idea
what's going on in the future. And that's why this, again, I know this may be overstated, but I think this is a good sign, right? When you're seeing these guys saying that they're hiring this guy with this tremendous experience to have basically run his own studio.
And don't be fooled. Like, they announced that he came onto their team recently, but that dude's been there for a couple months at least.
Right, and also
they chose to announce him because they wanted to get hyped. Because I do believe something
is coming.
Yeah, exactly. They're going to at least announce a studio.
And the fact that My Booty was like, "Yo, he's going to share more about Gallagher's role at E3." They're setting something up. Let's be clear. This is marketing 101. This is how you set things up. Then when you do these cryptic tweaks and you're showing yourself at Rise, you're doing little things to set up the potential of them reinvesting in first party. That's all I'm saying.
I will say one thing. I wasn't the way that I don't know who tweeted it, but I think it was Phil Spencer. He tweeted that people they dissected the tweet and they made fun of it. But it was like what their overall initiative is for this E3. It was like, show stuff that's in work and show stuff for the future. The way that they worded that I can't remember exactly. I think it was.
I know what you're talking about. Yep.
Here and beyond. I think that's exactly how they
exactly
work.
how it was worded.
That
Shout
doesn't
out to B-Money in
seem.
the chat. He said that he thinks Gallagher is going to be leading Fable.
That would be amazing.
Could be
That'd be
possible.
amazing.
I don't. When it comes to that particular phrase, you don't use that kind of phrase if it's just next year.
Right. Absolutely.
Like, I think that they realize that. I mean, let's be real here. They realize we have stuff. We just have to show it, and I think they're going to break that. We're only showing this year and next year thing.
I agree. I think they're going to break that protocol. Solve last point before we move on.
To me, the thing with Xbox, and I like the fact that they do need the variety. They still need the variety. They should have Sunset Overdrive 2. They should have Rise 2. The thing is, when you compare them to what Sony's doing, yes, the cultures are very different. What a PlayStation gamer expects and what an Xbox gamer expects. The thing about it is, at the end of the day, you have not had a marquee release in the vein of a God of War. Not necessarily that type of game. I'm just talking about it's
impactful.
Event. It's no thing.
You're right.
These releases are events. I haven't seen an event release for Xbox. Let's be real. An event release. What? Halo 3?
You wasn't feeling
an event.
Sea of Thieves wasn't your event?
No.
You're not
the same thing.
And it wasn't even me that said that.
What franchise has the cachet that
I
you
feel
can
like
say
it should have?
God of
I'm
War?
sorry. I kind of feel like, it didn't have, because you can't really put them on the same levels at all, because, Titanfall is a multiplayer game and this is a single player game. You're going to have a lot more people in it, but I feel like, God of War is getting more of an impact, but a lot of people were about Titanfall when it first came out. Like,
but not lining up around the
but
block.
you can't complete. No. You cannot complete multiplayer to a single player
but
game.
I'm not comparing.
But you can't compare them at all.
I'm talking about the status of the game. I'm not.
They don't have
compare the
a game of that
from
cachet, though. This is what I'm trying to tell you.
They need no game of that cachet.
I agree.
Right, but you got to build to that. That's exactly what Kratos is saying. That Sunset Overdrive could be a game part 2, but we won't. But
said it's not that.
Listen, you learn.
You know what it is? God of War built up to God of what it is now. You understand? There wasn't nobody standing around the block waiting for God of War 1.
I feel like
I remember yes, they were. Hold up. I was one of them. God of War 1. There was a block down. There was a line down the block on 86th Street, GameStop. God of War 1.
You're gonna make me Google the lines for God of War 1. It's gonna come up anemic. You're gonna make me Google this, and it's gonna come up anemic and nasty.
It's not comparing apples to oranges. You guys have all this revisionist history stuff going on. No. Let's be real. It's not about multiplayer versus single player. It's about the status of, you need your franchises that have these marquee releases. Halo lost that. It used to be that. It's not that anymore. Gears 1 and 2 were that. After that, you don't get that.
Long in the tooth. Can let me ask you real quick. Okay, we know Halo, Gears, and Forza, right? They're long in the tooth. What if Halo and what if Gears decided to pull a God of War and reboot, right?
That's what
they need. Come up with a it may be a culture shock to it may be a shock.
It's funny you said that. Let me cut you 1 second, Kratos, because you're jumping on something, you're nailing something that me and Lord Angerman was talking about. I thought 5 was gonna do that, because they were setting it up with the lock, right? I thought, they might be doing something drastic might piss people off, but they changing the direction, and they like completely fumbled the ball and lied in a way as to what the premise of what the way it was presented in the trailer. So I feel you. I think what it is like you said, sometimes when you have something that's safe, you've got to shake it up sometimes to do something different. But continue. You definitely hit a point.
Even make it a third-person game. I'd be happy with a third.
Yes.
I always said,
right? 7 feet tall.
I always said from the start, like, look, Halo.
I would fire you in a heartbeat. I'm firing your ass in a heartbeat. I will walk in the room and
like,
fire
you
your
that
ass
dude,
in a
you that
heartbeat.
dude that
If
likes
you
to
ever came unto me and I'm Phil, and you came and
go.
say, yo, check
And
this
there
out,
you
we're
go.
gonna go third person
And
with
there you
Halo.
go.
I'm firing
that's
your
why-
ass that same day.
and
Get him
that's
out of there.
and that's why
Get him
when we
out
get
of
off the podcast, you're going to play PUBG. And that's why. That's why.
No, actually, no. I'm gonna go play. I gotta go play.
You
God
missed
of
the
War. I'm
same
gonna go
mode. You
play
missed
God
the
of War.
same mode. I know how you missed the same mode. You that
Well, the
dude.
multiplayer, the multiplayer can be the same mode, right? That way you have the diehards. They have what they needed, but you can also have that single player game that gives you that story driven, over the shoulder.
Right.
You can do what Call of Duty's doing and give it to you separately for $30 or $40.
Yeah, we're gonna get on that right there.
Yo,
But
let's move on. Let's move on real quick.
No, I'm not gonna allow that attack to come at me sideways. I'm not attack that. I'm not gonna.
Last topic. We gotta breathe.
Yeah, we got that, but I'm not gonna allow that attack to come that way. So let me just say this. Let me say this. Let me time out. Let me say this, and I'm gonna say this to you. I'm gonna say it to you, Solo Experience. I'm gonna say this to you.
Single player.
I'm gonna say this to you, Captain Solo. I'm still waiting for you so I can finish the game I started with you.
Yeah, I know.
So,
and you're gonna wait till I finish.
Don't come at me and tell me I'm playing PUBG when I got dudes that want to play PUBG and I want to play this game that I started with you. And you are still over there doing little sideshow experiences.
I know. I hurt you, man.
I do want to say something.
Thank you.
Good, Attic. We got to move on. Attic,
I want to say that, I do completely agree. I do feel like when it comes to, regardless what you guys want to say about Halo 5, I do feel like Halo 5 was a good game. Its story was just messed up. The multiplayer it's still played to this day. It's still got a lot of fantastic. And that's my primary example. It's like, look, like I'm sorry, like Gears need to go. Like
whoa,
I feel like need to be different. I feel like Gears 4 was safe.
I feel like
Coalition, it was too safe. They should have killed Phoenix.
I feel like Coalition needs to make something new that's gory, that's 2-player co-op, and that just rips shit apart. I feel like
wasn't it that black studio that was supposed to be doing the Gears, and it wasn't supposed to be Coalition, and it was really supposed to be dark, and it was supposed to to be a real crazy reboot.
Is it Black Tusk?
They were Black Tusk.
Black Tusk. Yeah.
And then they said, no, you're gonna make Gears from now on, and that was that.
And I really think they should have went in that direction that Black Tusk had, and maybe we will get that game. Maybe we will get it under a different moniker. Maybe they feel that, since they only have 5 games, that they're not willing to gamble with their 5. So I'm sorry if I kind of feel these dudes with the 5 games saying, no, we're going to stay true to these dudes, because if we lose one of these 5, we only got 4.
I agree.
But if you keep putting out the same stuff, you're going to lose it anyway.
They willing to roll with the 5, though.
Look, at the end of the day, like, tell me this wouldn't sound cool. Like, if you're not good, like, okay, at the end of the day, I think that they don't want to make anything that's not Halo and Gears, because unlike Sony, it's easier to talk to the corporate about a loss. Because Sony's like, okay, we've been in this industry for a long time. This is one of our biggest money makers. Here, it's fine. Go do something else. But when you go up to the Microsoft CEOs,
Microsoft is doing financially better than Sony as a company.
They're doing better as a company,
be more averse to taking a little bit more risk than Sony. Where Sony, listen, Sony has to knock it out the park. Like PlayStation,
they don't.
Exactly.
The company's going out of business. So they have no choice.
So technically, Microsoft should be the one.
At the end of the day, like that's a cool concept, and technically they're doing better. But up until now, until recently, they didn't even have a seat at the table. Gaming's
That's
always
a good point. No, you're right. You're right. And now Phil's at the table. Now Sacha got Phil at the table. These are now Phil's vision. I know Lord King smiling. Only Xbox only begotten son is around table.
It's like I said on Luca's podcast yesterday. Like,
Yo, D-Truth is stupid. He said, "Don't be sorry, be better. I am done with you."
Boy, nah.
Yeah, it's true. No, you're right. Don't be sorry, be better.
Of the day. At the end of the day, regardless how you feel about Phil Spencer, and I've said multiple times, I'm unsure how he's doing.
He's not the guy. To me, he's not the guy.
But at the end
What
of the
the hell
day,
is wrong with you?
No.
Because this just gonna go bad.
It's gonna go bad. Please, we gonna move on. Go ahead, Addict. Finish. Please. That's another debate.
At the end of the day, you have to look at it from perspective of every game that has come out in the past 2 years ain't been Phil Spencer shit.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly, when he came in, he said he had a roadmap. He was going to work on, and I said this exact thing in Lucas thing, and I stand by. He said he was going to work on hardware, certain games as a services, and then exclusive games. I don't necessarily like. A lot of people took that concept and they're like, "Well, is he going to do them in order?" I don't think he was He put that perspective in order. He put it in the perspective of what is going to take the longest, and when can I do this, and when can I do that. And they realized they could do hardware first, games as a service, because games take longer than both of those shits.
So they can't walk and chew gum at the same time?
They are.
No, they cannot. No, they cannot.
It's like I said, God of War took 5 years to make.
Facts.
God of War took 5 years to make.
Games take a long time to make, man.
Yes, but listen,
you expect them to rush out there.
Stops. You guys
go for
act
it,
like time stays still, and you act like time stays still, and you can only do this. No, Sony has like freaking 50 IPs.
And how long did all those games take?
I just want to throw this to the point.
What Horizon took 4 years?
Right, but all I want to say is this, Kratos, is that you're absolutely right. They should be able to walk and chew gum at the game time and do these same things that Sony's doing. But in Addict's defense, which is this is the first time Microsoft has actually put gaming at their table. So that's a sign of where they were prioritizing things. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't really a priority. Like gaming kind of came. It was the successful other little thing that they were doing that's now blowing up. And let's be honest, Windows phones and other things have kind of gone by the wayside. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Tyler, what's his name? Myerson. Don't let the door hit you with a split you. But you know what I'm saying? No disrespect. Yeah. But we glad Phil is at the table. We glad he's got his position placed. So I just want to see. I agree. We can't go into this mentality, which is like just wait till we
No, that's the wrong mentality. That's why I'm playing God of War right now.
Exactly.
Microsoft don't got that shit. But at the end of the day, I've said it. I've gotten jumped on Planet Xbox for doing the same thing.
Right.
You can't spend. Well, let's take this calendar for instance. Yesterday, what was yesterday? The 21st. That's a Saturday.
Right.
You can't make a video on the 21st saying Xbox got no games, and then make a video. What's a week from the 23rd? First, the 28th, saying Xbox got no games. It's a week, fam. You can't make a game in a week. Like you can't just keep making the same repetitive video over and over again, expecting process to be done in a week. Like
absolutely. But in Kratos' defense, it's tough out here in these Xbox streets if you don't have games like a God of War. You don't have you feel a way. That why is it my platform kind of providing those type of experience that they have?
This is something we've said multiple times.
Absolutely.
Sony, for the most part, they've been a stable gaming industry the entire time. Last year they did last gen they did a Thumble. When people didn't know how that was going to work, but
$600 get a second job.
Regardless how it goes, and regardless what kind of excuses, it's not our fault. But not only did they have the entire 2013 fuck up, did not mean to say that. I apologize.
For the Lords, I know.
They had that. Then we go to they had the change of leadership, not only on an Xbox level, like Phil Spencer. He went to the leadership. They changed the leadership to Phil Spencer. Then they promoted him. They had the CEO leadership change as well.
Right.
They had an entire restructure of the entire. I mean, the software on a level, if you go from the original 2013 Xbox software to now, it's night and day. They had to complete, there's an interview with Angry Joe where they asked Major Nelson, he said, why can't you just flip a switch and fix it? Major Nelson said, we couldn't do it, and people laughed at him when they did it. They couldn't do it. They had to strip the entire software and start from fresh? Why do you think that pop-ups from Xbox were how long ago? How long before the
basically Phil had to undo everything that was done during the match? Okay, let's just cut.
I'm just gonna say I'm gonna say one thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all not gonna be smirched, Phil. Y'all not gonna.
We got it. We got to move on.
I know we're gonna get that. I want you to anytime you sit there and you felt that rolling off the tongue, he not the dude. I want you to understand this, and I want you to know this, right? When the snipe that up, all your dudes start disappearing on that Sony side, okay? Because he's sniping you. He took away your power. He took away the power. The power is done. All right? Games as a service. Game Pass is flourishing in a nice situation. Backwardly compatible, all that stuff, throw that in there. That's a little extra. He told you the games is coming. The games is coming.
Right.
Thou shalt not disrespect the film, man. On everything, man. Watch yourself on
that. Can I just tell y'all
that
Spider-Man and The Last of Us 2 is coming, and those
yes, we do.
there is
who's your CEO again? Oh, that's another guy.
Moving along. Well, Kratos, we understand what you're saying. Like it's to compare them right now. Sony, the way I look at it right now, and I had this conversation with Lord Brad
You're
offline.
legitimately comparing apples and oranges.
Yeah,
there's no comparison.
No, at the end of the day, we also got to just give credit where credit. Right, Sony's on a first-party run where it's like Jordan in the '90s right now. Like you could have the Pistons, you could have the Showtime Lake. This is Jordan in the night. They just on a phenomenal run. These just got to re-up, rededicate to what they're saying they're going to do with these first-party studios, these announcements of what they're saying, and let's just see what the roadmap is for the future. That's all I'm saying.
We got to build in the draft. We got to build our farm system up.
We got to go back in the draft. This is them.
Yeah,
that's it.
We gonna go by people.
Last topic. Call of Duty single player has been removed. Everybody pretty much knows what's going on. The last thing is what you call is apparently there's supposed to be a battle royale mode in place. I love Fortnite. I want to get some in this as well. What do we think about it? Do we think this stage sets a dangerous precedent for moving forward? Lost Solve, no single player, Call of Duty Black Ops 4.
You know, I don't even really play it for.
He's like, I don't even care.
That's it. So that's the thing. I play it for the single player. I like the stories. I mean, I think the engine's a little long in the tooth. They need to switch up the engine and make it different. But I just think why call it Black Ops 4 then? Like what?
So are you? What do you feel about perceived value? Should as far as the $60, charging the same thing?
Yeah, $39.99.
$39.99, right? Okay.
If it's a $60 game, definitely have a problem with that. They haven't said they said there's no single player campaign, but I know people have been pining for that co-op multiplayer. I forgot what it's called now. No, not the zombies. People are kind of tired of zombies. It was in Modern Warfare 2. Was it Spec Ops, something like that? It was called something like that, where it was I think it was story centric multiplayer, like co-op stuff. If they do something like that and add some kind of story to it, that would be cool, just to switch up the formula a little bit. That'd be cool.
Apparently there's no campaign player. This is multiple sources: Polygon, Eurogamer, Kotaku, Charlie.
I mean, this wouldn't necessarily a campaign, but it just doesn't make any sense to me to call it Black Ops 4 after that, because you're not tying it.
It's just going to ship mostly with a multiplayer, without a campaign, and possibly a battle royale mode. At the end of the day, developed by Raven Software.
At the end of the day, they got the stats. They know who beats these things. They know who don't beat these things. And as much as people hate it, there's going to be 10 people to that one person that be like, "That's good. I don't care."
All right, now let me ask you this, Addict. What about perceived value? Do you
I
think?
Don't care. I'm not buying this game anyway.
No, I know you're not buying it. We get that. Addict's world. But we're saying, what about, should they still be able to charge $60? Is that okay to you? Do you think it should be?
No, they shouldn't, but they're going to.
Lord King, we got to
I've heard arguments, people saying that if they give you I don't know how many maps at the beginning, they'd be okay with $60. Like if they give you a suite of 30 maps or something, whatever.
No.
You said it better be 30 maps.
That's what people are saying. Like, they'd be okay with that.
So you already know that.
They're not.
They're going to give you exactly what they gave everyone else.
The 5 seasons coming.
They're going to give you exactly what they normally give you, and they're going to have that hand popped out, be like, "Where's my money?"
Let the king eat their pills.
I'm the opposite of all these guys that play multiplayer. I can have Call of Duty and I never touched multiplayer not one time. Shout out to Lord Green Mason. He tried to get me to do the zombies thing. I thought zombies was crap. I think honestly, I thought they multiplayers like tacked on BS. The story was where it was at for me, because that's where you was able to dive into the graphics part of the engine, and you was able to exploit and show stuff, set pieces. I always looked at Call of Duty as the big budget movie and Battlefield as the B class movie trying to keep up. To be honest with you, and the stories have always captivated me to keep playing on. Never once, if you look at my profile,
you're never a
never once did I really unlike multiplayer.
Right, so this affects you most
in these games. I won't purchase you now. In the same breath, if you have a PUBG type of battle royale mode,
right. And I was going to ask you about Overwatch. Shout out to B Money in the chat, making a good point about $60 for Overwatch, and everybody didn't have no problem with that.
I did. I ain't buy it.
Oh, okay, facts.
I had a huge problem with that. I have a huge problem when you tell me it's multiplayer only and it's centric around deathmatch.
Addict.
Now, when you tell me it's 100 people in a map, and I get to hunt 100 people with 4 of my friends, and I can stretch it out, and matches is like 45 minutes and stuff like that, I think that really intrigues me. That's why I play PUBG. But when you tell me I'm going to be running around spawn killing and respawning, and that is idiotic to me. It has no place in my DNA. I don't choose to do it. I know you're gonna say you played Halo and you was doing it with your friends. It was nice when it was the first that did it, but when somebody keeps doing that same one trick pony, it gets tiresome. I'm not about it.
All right, Lord Kratos, what do you feel?
All right. Well, I don't have a problem with it.
Okay.
I don't have a problem with it at all. But I also think that as a person who spent $60 on Sea of Thieves that don't have a story, and it also
$60. Time out. Back that up.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Stop putting out that narrative, man. Don't do that. God of War's
no.
You paid $100 on God of War. You pay $100 for God of War.
I spent $60 for this game. It didn't have a single player. It didn't have a single player component, and it didn't even have a Kraken with a full body. But I still,
Whoa! What's $60 you paid? Where did you do this at? What did it come with? A child?
Your podcast.
Oh, that's how much Sea of Thieves cost. $60.
No, it don't cost no $60.
Yes, it does, sir. I pre-ordered it. It cost $60.
He was excited for the game. He pre-ordered
Oh,
it.
I guess King's question is why didn't you Game Pass it, Lord Kratos?
Yeah, he didn't listen because his internet is down.
I'm gonna tell you why I didn't Game Pass, right?
Yeah.
It's probably because I have something. It's like I feel like I'm gonna get too overwhelmed in that game, and they know it's gonna take me more than 14 days or 30 days to do it. And I don't want to have my credit card just keep spinning. Like, let me pay my $60 and get my ass on.
Oh,
no more
you have trust issues because Sony's always getting hacked, and you think that your credit card
maybe
is stolen. I got it.
Maybe so, but
is real right now.
I want to pay for my Kraken up front.
Good, so you pay for your Kraken. Now listen, I'm mailing it to you, so you're gonna get the body 2 weeks from now.
I'm still waiting for the DLC body.
I'm waiting for the multiplayer in God of War. I paid $60 for no multiplayer. So when they ship me the multiplayer, I'll be happy with that. So you got no body, and I got no bodies to play with.
Hey, you guys know there was that one guy that said he got mad when everybody was talking about it was no Kraken body. He said, "I don't know why y'all swimming under there anyway, trying to look."
You're not meant to go there.
Now that's good.
He was mad, man.
He said, "Why you jumped off the boat and didn't fight?"
Wrap it up on COD. When you don't have a problem with it, you have no issue with it, or you have a problem with it. Overall, COD, Call of Duty, no single player being there.
Don't have a problem at all. When the bulk of the people will play the multiplayer of it. So I mean, come on, I'd rather them give me a good multiplayer than try to shoehorn some shitty story in there, wasting resources, wasting time. And it is what it is. And I don't have a problem with $60, right? I don't have a problem with that because I expect him to throw a bunch of maps in there, and I expect the multiplayer to be a higher quality.
Right. I'm just jumping. My opinion is a little different. Everybody's got their own thing with it. I don't have a problem with them removing it. You know, I mean, listen, I don't. I know for the people who like single player, that sucks. But I do agree that the metrics probably do show, and the achievement tracking list do show that people weren't playing it. And you know, let's be honest, the resources there to create that takes money. However, I disagree with the fact that if they're going to do this, but basically, I'm looking at perceived value. If everything you gave me prior to this was always this full package, you gave me meat and potatoes, you gave me dessert, you gave me all this other stuff, right? Now, this new version, now you're talking about you just giving me the meat. I don't get no cheesecake. I don't get no side dishes. That all
No
my
vegetables?
Call of Duties, yeah, like all my Call of Duties had a full, you know, Boston Market situation. So why are you just giving me the turkey and slapping it on the meal, you know, and expecting me to pay 60 for it? That's just where I'm at.
But
Look,
they
you
telling
buy
you
that
though,
turkey
you never
and
did
you
eat your
enjoy it.
vegetables though. You
What
didn't
you
eat your vegetables.
said?
So it's like you don't need that because you didn't eat that.
But I would like, because this is what your value was. You
Because you like to watch it,
always-
you like to know it's there.
Yeah,
That's
you
right.
gave me, if I wanted to be hungry one day and have a little single player peach cobbler on the side, I should be able to have that. That's all I'm saying.
That's right. That's what I'm saying. Don't take
All right,
my
we gonna wrap it up.
options.
Real
gonna
quick, I
wrap it
got a
up.
question for King.
Go ahead, King.
About, because again, if they just give you the same old Call of Duty multiplayer and don't change it significantly, make it better, like Kratos says, there's gonna be a problem with that. So I'm my bet is they're really banking on this battle royale stuff to really take off. Now, for King, who plays a lot of PUBG, do you think? Because for what I perceive with PUBG is that people prefer to play that in third person as opposed to that first person.
Yeah.
How does that translate to Call of Duty being a battle royale game? Because to me,
I think they might have the third person option in it.
You think they change up what would traditionally be Call of Duty to make it fit into what battle royale is?
Yeah, listen, battle royale
Change
selling
isn't
here in the
bad.
streets. Battle
Change
royale
isn't
selling.
bad.
Everybody wants that bag. We seen what Cliffy B doing right now, right?
Yeah,
Everybody
that's
wants
third
that
person, same thing.
Fortnite bag. Let's just call it what
see,
it is.
do you have the option in PUBG to play first or third person? You can lock it in there too.
Yes.
So my perception is that most people don't like to do that. They have separate servers for that. Like most people like to play in third person.
Well, your perception's wrong.
Yeah, well, you know, you can mix it too. Like while you're playing the game, you can just stay in first person if you choose. So I believe that option will be available. What they're gonna do is they're gonna dissect the successful, right? And you know, this is EA, man. So they're gonna actually make sure that after dissecting the successful, see what works.
Well,
and
this
they
is
got the
Activision
analytics.
actually with this.
I mean, Activision. I'm sorry, I'm thinking about Battlefield because they have a PUBG joint coming too. And they're gonna, you know, they do all the analytics and see what in on what, and if it's comparable both ways, they're gonna say, yo, you know what? Let's just put both of them options in there. Or if not, the community will cry for it, and then they will
this
probably
is a test run. Make no mistake. Shout out to Ed Torres. I agree with you. This is a test run to see how the community reacts. And if the community maybe prove me wrong, they just say, hey, we gonna buy just that multiplayer, and you know, it is what it is.
They've been trying to do that for years.
Yeah, yo, we gotta wrap it up. We had 3 hour mark. Yo,
all right, yeah, let's do it.
New ILP poll.
I gotta go outside and play my
everybody gotta go. I know everybody's doing their wrap ups. All right, new poll. When neutral gaming media outlets run imagery or articles that may be perceived to poke fun of one platform over another, do you consider this to be media bias against that platform? The answers are A, no. Performance dictates coverage. No media bias exists. B, yes, there is definitely a conspiracy against certain platforms. C, maybe some journalists do have biases. Or D, I don't care. Y'all mad because y'all platform is losing. That is the question. Those are the choices. Please rock the vote. You know the shallows is in the building. The ILP for the Twitter post. Lord Kratos, my man, thank you for coming through on the cameo, causing drama in the realm. I loved it, man. Kicked up dust.
But we living alone, man.
Kratos.
You know when me and David get together, it's finna be some drama.
Movie.
Yeah,
people in the chat was saying y'all should do your own podcast together. Like it was lit.
We're gonna work on something, man. We're gonna work on something.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're gonna work on something. He better get to E3 with me.
Hey, we're gonna be in the highs. We're gonna be in the highs.
And what you got cooking up?
Yeah, man. We're gonna try to work on something for E3. So I'm gonna be there. And everybody can find me on Twitter where I do the bulk of my work at JDubCity16. Keeping you guys laughing with the gifts and the memes. You know what I mean?
You know what I mean?
And, thanks again, bros, for having me on. As
Absolute
usual,
pleasure.
I had a blast.
Absolute pleasure to have Lord Kratos in the realm coming down in
Waiting for you to come up in there too. I was hoping that you got that from the beginning, though.
Lord Addict, where can people find you? Any more difficult game conquerors? You savage, beating God of War so fast. I'm so mad at you.
Actually, right now I'm working on the in-game content. Like they actually have like really strong bosses and stuff you can fight. I'm sure Kratos can comment on that. But yeah, you can find me on Twitter. Something ILP. I think it's Lord Addict at the moment. I can't remember.
Boy, get your name right.
Please don't. You can find me on pretty much any kind of gaming outlet, PlayStation, Xbox. It's all room to kill. Yes, I do know that I should make Gaming Addict. No, I don't need a comment about it. So definitely appreciate everyone coming by. Appreciate Kratos for coming by. And we'll see you next week. And catch me on Planet Xbox on Wednesday.
No doubt. Lord Sovereign, what's going on with you? Where can people find you?
This week they can find me on PlayStation. This week they can find me
is the
on
status
PlayStation.
gonna be online?
Oh, I don't know how to turn it off. So
No, listen. He gonna find out how to turn it off, and he is not gonna be online.
I got a bunch of new friends. I got room to kill.
Me too. I turned it on and I saw all these friend requests. It's Xbox 360 lover, guys. 01.
They finally believe you, right?
Yeah, I was like, yo, look. And it was like, because you know what it was? They were probably sending me the request, and it was like, that's a fake, that's a troll, he's trolling. But no, when I logged on, I saw you. I had to wait for God of War to show up. I wasn't playing that anyway.
So Sav will be on God of War. That's where you can find you.
That's where you can find me.
Lord King, the excess get money premium gamer. What you got going on? What can people find you?
Yo, you can catch me on everything that's social media. King OTW, Twitter. I'm gonna be Instagram, Facebook, all that live stream craziness. I want it to just be like this great thing. I want y'all to understand this, right? A lot of you guys have purchased the shirts. I want y'all to tweet that out. There's gonna be a thing with that too, because we're gonna be taking the tweets with that, and you're gonna be getting discounts because of that. Because you have purchased, you're promoting, and you should be rewarded, and that's gonna happen for you. Because these new shirts is coming in crazy colors. And I have the female woman gamer in mind. I want you all to step out and be proud of your game. And you notice that the Iron Lords logo has PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch. It's not just Xbox logo. It's for everyone. So please get the shirts, please get at us, and represent the movement. The movement is unity. They're all presented at one point.
Facts.
So as you see, Kratos is here. We joke around, we play around, but we all play together.
Facts. That's what's up, man. Of course, it's Lord Cognito here, man. Another one in the books. Again, shout out to Lord Kratos for coming through, man. And what I love about Kratos is like, he reps his platform, but we got our platform, but we can still come in and have fun. You know what I'm saying? And just debate, and is all love, and that's what we need in the community, man. Like, it's what's up. And shout out to everybody who took the time out for the whole Xbox Addict thing. That was real good to see. Like I said, the community come together. We lost our gaming brethren. Links in the description for the GoFundMe for his family. You know what I'm saying? The wife, the kids, and all that. Make sure everybody's okay. Everyone in the chat. The chat was absolutely lit. Shout out to Ebontis. Flashpoint 12 is up. Destiny on a little comeback, y'all. Y'all might want to listen if y'all interested. You know what I'm saying? Wow. Damn it. But for those who are interested,
this is a make or break. GOTY, man,
This is a
make or break.
DLC for them, and they got some stuff cooking. So definitely check that out on the Iron Lord podcast channel. Shout out to all people who are giving love for the PAX East coverage. We got a lot of stuff cooking up, man. Everybody enjoy their Sunday. We know this was a long one, but when Kratos in the building, it was too fun to stop. Matt, everyone enjoy your Sunday. If anybody got anything else to say, we out of here. Everybody good?
Peace.
Boy.